9:30 in the AM, the time allocated for the Senate plenary sitting on this 18th day of the month of March, the year 2026. This is a broadcast of the Senate, streaming live from the Senate chambers, Parliament buildings in Nairobi. And it is a broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. You are right on time for these proceedings, and currently what you're seeing on your screens, that is inside the Senate chambers, final preparations before the sitting kicks off. We are glad that you are joining us for these proceedings. A warm welcome to you. My name is Kamchemenza. Good morning. Being a Wednesday morning, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 51C, where cabinet secretaries appear before the floor of the Senate chambers to respond to concerns. This is question time. The concerns that members of the Senate raise and are forwarded to respective ministries. These concerns could be relating to county, inter-county, national, regional, or even international matters. And this morning, pursuant to that, the provisions of that standing order, 3 cabinet secretaries are set to appear. The cabinet secretary for investments, trade and industry, kenyanYoutuber. The cabinet secretary for roads and transport, Davis Chirchir, and the cabinet secretary for cooperatives, micro, small and medium enterprises, commonly abbreviated as MSMEs development, Wycliffe Oparanya, are set to appear before the Senate this morning. However, we understand that the cabinet secretary for cooperatives and MSMEs development, Wycliffe Oparanya, has sent his apology or forwarded his apology to the Senate regarding his appearance. So this morning, the cabinet secretary, owing to that particular apology, may not be presenting himself for this particular sitting or session. However, the cabinet secretary for investment, trade and industry, kenyanYoutuber, once he appears before the Senate this morning, will be responding to concerns. This is a question that was forwarded to his ministry by the Honorable Senator for Kisumu County, Professor Tom Ojenda, regarding matters market management to ensure that there is uninterrupted operations in key markets. And this question indicates that, or rather the senator would like to understand from the cabinet secretary whether there are any details on the forms of support the ministry extends to county governments to build capacity for sustainable market management and to ensure uninterrupted operations in key markets, and explain how the ministry monitors the effectiveness of such support. Also on the same breath is that the senator would like to understand on any oversight mechanisms that exist to facilitate national government intervention whenever recommendations for operational improvements are not implemented fully and promptly, or whenever county level decisions adversely impact local economic activity, and whether the cabinet secretary could provide details on any instance where such mechanisms were invoked. And the cabinet secretary will also be required to respond to any proactive strategies that the ministry is implementing to ensure the continuity of market operations, promote economic resilience, and protect traders' livelihoods, particularly in high volume trading hubs across the country. This is a question or a concern that was forwarded to the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry regarding matters market management to ensure that there is uninterrupted operations in key markets. question that this morning will be asked by the Honorable Senator for Kisumu County, Professor Tom Ojienda. If you're just joining us, is that the House about to commence. We are expecting the procession of the Speaker to be making its way into the chamber. That is the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amason Jeffa Kingi, who has stepped into the chamber to preside over this morning sitting. You will now allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good morning.
Na tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, twakusihi ututazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka, sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Twakuomba utuwajalie tuyatende na kufikia mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umeskabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
The prayer has been said and the chair taken. However, there is a quorum hitch at the commencement of this sitting, and the Speaker has directed that the quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes. This is as provided for in the House Standing Order number 40. At the commencement, Standing Order number 39 indicates that at the commencement of the sitting, the House shall have at least 15 senators inside the chamber for it to be deemed to have quorated. If that is not present, then that will mean that the House has not quorated, and that quorum bell shall be rung, of course, to give room to members to be able to make their way into the chambers and enable the House raise that much needed quorum for it to be able to commence its sitting. However, as we wait for the House to quorate, we shall continue to take a look at the business that the senators shall be transacting this morning. Being a Wednesday morning, as I had indicated earlier, is that the Senate will be hosting cabinet secretaries, of course, to respond to questions that normally are sent to the ministries, of course, prior the appearance before the Senate chambers. And this morning, the Cabinet Secretary for Investments, Trade and Industry, Lee kenyanYoutuber, is one of the Cabinet Secretaries lined up to appear before the Senate to answer to concerns around sustainable market management to ensure there is uninterrupted operations in key markets across the country. It is a question that will be asked by the Honorable Senator for Kisumu County, Professor Tom Ojienda. And you realize that this question, members of the Senate will have an opportunity to also ask supplementary questions regarding this particular question. Those supplementary questions have to be aligned to the primary questions, and the Cabinet Secretary will provide comprehensive responses to these questions. The Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport, Davis Chirchir, is also expected to address the chambers this morning. He will also be answering a question from the Senator for Kisumu County, Professor Tom Ojienda. The question is around road safety, and the Senator will be seeking to understand from the Cabinet Secretary the current status of investigations into the fatal bus accident that occurred on 9th August 2025 at the Coptic roundabout in Mamboleo along the Kisumu-Kakamega highway, which claimed the lives of 26 persons and left several others injured. On the same breath is that the Cabinet Secretary will also have to indicate if there are any road safety audit that the ministry has undertaken, and also black spot mapping for roads leading to Kisumu City, and whether the Cabinet Secretary could also provide timelines for the implementation of remedial measures, including installation of signage, speed control mechanisms, and also enhanced traffic enforcement. These matters revolve around the road carnage that has been witnessed across parts of the country, and the Coptic roundabout in Mamboleo along the Kisumu-Kakamega highway accident is just one of them that once the Cabinet Secretary responds to, then with the supplementary questions that will be coming from the senators in line with this particular primary question, then the Cabinet Secretary shall be able also to enlighten and also expound on the safety measures that the ministry has put in place or is putting in place, of course, to ensure that the road carnage is tamed or at least reduced in the country. If you're just joining us, is that the House about to commence its sitting? The prayer has already been said and the chair taken. However, there is a quorum hitch, and the Speaker has directed that the quorum bell be rung. That means the number of senators that should be in the chamber at the time the House is commencing or the sitting is commencing has not been attained yet. We can see the leader of the majority party. We can also see the Senator for Kitui, the Senator for Nairobi County. We can see them trying to count at least the number of members inside the chamber to see how many of them perhaps are remaining for the House to attain that requisite number for it to be deemed to have corrected and be able to commence that particular sitting. I welcome you to these proceedings, and we shall continue to take a look at the business that the members will be transacting this morning. The Cabinet Secretary for Roads, and Transport, Davis Chirchir, once he appears before the chamber this morning to respond to questions around road safety, will also be required to provide measures that the ministry has put in place to address the rising number of fatal accidents involving long-distance passenger buses, particularly on roads serving the western region of Kenya. This is a question that was forwarded to the ministry, of course, prior to the Cabinet Secretary appearance before the Senate this morning. And so the senators will be expecting to receive a comprehensive response from the Cabinet Secretary regarding these concerns, not just county or inter-county, but a countrywide or a nationwide concern on the road carnage that has been recorded in various parts of the country. So that is the business that once the Cabinet Secretaries or even once the House corrects, as you can see at the front of the chamber, there is the stand, that is the position that once the Cabinet Secretaries are ushered in and are called to respond to this question, shall be taking their position on that stand. The questions are outlined in the order paper is just one question for the Cabinet Secretary for Investment, Trade and Industry, and also one question for the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport. So once the members are done with receiving responses on these concerns from the Cabinet Secretary, the other business or other priority business that the members will be considering this morning includes a motion by the Honorable nominated Senator Hamida Kibwana. This motion is on the mainstreaming of a framework for clean cooking in the country, clean cooking in Kenya. And this is a motion that the Honorable Senator seeks, or the House seeks to resolve to give various the Senate resolves to get various measures from the Council of Governors, a number of measures be put in place by the Council of Governors, also National Treasury and Ministry of Energy, also county governments. One of the measures that the motion will be seeking to have the Council of Governors or even county governments incorporate includes to develop county-level policies, frameworks, and also budgets. The bell has stopped. Allow me to hand you over to the proceedings.
Sergeant at Arms, ring the quorum bell for further 10 minutes.
First quorum bell has lapsed, the 10-minute quorum bell has lapsed, but the Speaker has directed that a further 10-minute quorum bell be rung. This is, of course, to still provide the room or an allowance for the members who are yet to make their way to the House to be able to join their colleagues already in the chamber, and most importantly, enable the House attain that much needed quorum. So we were looking at the motion regarding the mainstreaming of a framework for clean cooking in Kenya. This is a motion. The clean cooking basically refers to using of cooking methods and fuels that are safe for human health and the environment, and also producing little or no harmful smoke, soot, or toxic emissions. And this is a motion that at the end of it, the House will be seeking to ensure that there are measures being put in place by county governments. One of them is to develop a county-level policy framework and also budget that mainstreams clean cooking into devolved energy and health functions. National Treasury and the Ministry of Energy will also be required to prioritize clean cooking in financing frameworks, including results-based financing and blended finance models to de-risk private investments. Also, county governments will be required to incorporate clean cooking targets in the county integrated development plans, that is CIDPs, and ensure public institutions such as schools, health facilities, and prisons adopt clean cooking solutions. The National Treasury and county governments also will be required to fast-track letters of authorization to unlock carbon finance markets for clean cooking projects. And the county governments will also be required to engage the private sector actors and community organizations to expand clean cooking access, create local jobs, and reduce pressure on forest resources. As we wait for the quorum to be attained, remember, as provided for in the House Standing Order number 40, is that the first 10-minute quorum bell shall be on. If that bell lapses or the 10-minute lapses, the Speaker shall direct that a further 10-minute quorum bell be rung. However, the standing order also further goes ahead to indicate that if there is still no quorum present, the Speaker shall adjourn the Senate forthwith to the next sitting. These are the provisions of the standing orders of the Senate. So just to inform you that this is the second quorum bell, the 10-minute quorum bell, and we believe that the senators shall be able to correct, to be able to transact the business that has been lined up for consideration this morning. Back to this particular motion regarding the framework for clean cooking in Kenya. The mover cites Article 42 of the Constitution, which guarantees every person the right to a clean and healthy environment, which includes access to safe energy options. The mover also indicates that over 900 million Africans, this is to back up the motion, over 900 million Africans, including more than 90% of households in Kenya's rural areas, still rely on traditional biomass. This is firewood, charcoal, animal waste for cooking, resulting in high levels of indoor air pollution that causes premature deaths, particularly among women and children. Also in Kenya, indoor air pollution has been linked to over 23,000 annual deaths, with women and girls bearing the disproportionate burden of time spent collecting firewood and cooking, limiting their education and economic opportunities. That traditional cooking methods contribute significantly to deforestation, greenhouse gas emissions, and climate vulnerability at the county level, undermining national commitments under the Energy Act 2019, the Climate Change Act 2016, and Kenya's nationally determined contributions, commonly abbreviated as NDCs. And that Africa Clean Cooking Summit, Paris 2023, mobilized USD 2.2 billion in commitments for clean cooking. And the International Energy Agency has recommended urgent financing and policy action to achieve universal access by 2040. And that the efforts of some counties, development partners, and private sector actors in piloting clean cooking projects, but recognizing that these remain small scale and fragmented. It is on this background that the mover of this motion and the House resolved to have the county governments and the National Treasury adopt the measures that I have indicated earlier, including the development of a county-level policy framework and budget that mainstreams clean cooking into devolved energy and health functions, and also that the National Treasury and Ministry of Energy prioritize clean cooking in financing frameworks, including result-based financing. Let's listen into the Speaker.
Order, Honorable Senators. Senator Gataya. Clerk, you may proceed to call the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notice of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Now, Honorable Senators, we have 5 questions that are due for response today. 1 directed to the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Trade and Investment. 1 directed to the Minister in charge of Roads and Transport. And 3 directed to the CS in charge of cooperatives and micro, small, and medium enterprises. Now, I have been informed that the CS in charge of trade will not be in a position to appear before the Senate this morning. We just received his letter. We have also received a letter this morning from the CS in charge of cooperatives and micro and small medium enterprises that he will not be in a position to appear before the Senate, and therefore we are left with only one question that is directed to the CS in charge of roads and transport. Clerk, can you confirm that the CS in charge of trade and transport is within the building? Well, I'm told the CS is on his way, and he should be arriving shortly. The CS in charge of roads and transport. So that is the business before us this morning. Instead of having 5 questions, we are going to receive response to only one question. That is the question directed to the CS in charge of transport and roads. So while we wait for the CS in charge of transport, a majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, before I proceed with this motion, allow me to register my disappointment with ourselves, because we have said on many occasions that we need to relook this parliamentary powers and privilege act so as to deal with errant cabinet ministers like the 2 that were supposed to appear and are now pretending as if there's an emergency that has just appeared. Today we cannot blame the ministers. I want to tell you that the blame is on the 15 of you in the House. Because if we had amended that act and the proper sanctions issued against, people would have learned and they wouldn't be playing the games they are playing. So I'm not in the mood to whine this morning, but just to say that the blame is squarely on me and the rest of the 14 of our colleagues. We need to do better. Mr. Speaker, this is an extraordinary motion in light of the situation we find ourselves in, where all the members of the Speaker's panel are absent on different duties. And therefore, we have to elect temporary Speakers, assistants, to work with you to run the business of the House in the course of the day. And we have consulted with the leader of minority and myself, and therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to just propose that I beg to move that pursuant to Article 107(1)(c) of the Constitution and Standing Order number 18, the Senate elects Senator Dr. Danson Ngatana and Senator Fatuma Dulo to preside over the sittings of the Senate for the remainder of the day. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move, and I request the minority leader to second. I thank you.
I second.
Senator Mandago, kindly take your seat. Now, honorable senators, this is a procedural motion which I need not put it to the floor for debate. And therefore, with your concurrence, you may allow me to straight away go into putting of the question. I will therefore put the question, which is that pursuant to Article 107(1)(c) of the Constitution and Standing Order 18, The Senate elects Senators Dr. Danson Buya Mungatana and Senator Fatuma Dulo to preside over sittings of the Senate for the remainder of the day. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Order, Honorable Senators, the CS in charge of roads and transport is present, and therefore we will proceed with question number 026 by the Senator for Kisumu County, the Honorable Professor Tom Ojenda. You holding brief?
Yes, I'm holding brief.
Where is your written authority to do so?
Through my phone, Mr. Speaker. Professor Ojenda is in court, Mr. Speaker.
Well,
yes.
But Honorable Manzo, you know the drill here. In case you, yes, we need to know that. Lest we don't have a situation where Professor Tom Ogenda comes to disown all these proceedings. Senator Manzo, you are properly instructed. You may proceed to ask the question on behalf of the Senator for Kisumu County.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Senator for Kisumu County, Senator Professor Tom Ogenda, Senior Counsel, MP, is asking the question to Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport, 026. A, could the Cabinet Secretary indicate the current status of investigations into the fatal bus accident that occurred on 9th August 2025 at the Coptic roundabout in Mamboleo along the Kisumu-Kakamega Highway, which claimed the lives of 26 persons and left several others injured? B, has the Minister undertaken a road safety audit and black spot mapping for roads leading to Kisumu City? And could the Cabinet Secretary provide timelines for the implementation of the remedial measures, including installation of signage, speed control mechanisms, and enhanced traffic enforcement? C, what measures have the Ministry put in place to address the rising number of fatal accidents involved along distance passenger buses, particularly on roads serving the western region of Kenya? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may now respond.
Honorable Speaker, Senate, honorable members, good morning, and sorry for coming late. Earlier on, sought the indulgence of the majority leader. I was held up in a breakfast meeting with various banks on this securitization for the road maintenance levy to support our infrastructural work, which is currently going on across the country. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, to respond to question number 026, this morning raised by Senator Ogenda. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's my pleasure to respond to the question as raised by the Senator for Kisumu through Senator Manzo. As communicated via the letter dated 19, reference November 2025, and another letter dated 4th March 2026. The question, to just recapture that the Cabinet Secretary states the current status of investigation in the fatal bus accident that occurred on 9th August 2025 at the Coptic roundabout in Mamboleo along Kisumu-Kakamega Highway, which claimed the lives of 26 persons and left several others injured. Mr. Speaker, sir, the National Police Service is the lead agency that conducts the formal investigation into the cause of crashes. They review witness statements, driver actions, vehicle conditions, and any elements that may constitute criminal negligence. Honorable Speaker, the National Police Service have not finalized their report yet. However, I wish to report that the ministry, through its implementing agency, the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA, has compiled technical crash analysis report as annexed in my report this morning. To address the safety concern at this roundabout, the Kenya National Highways Authority, KENHA, conducted site visits in August 2025 and subsequently redesigned the Coptic area crash road section. The proposed work involved the construction of the segment as through traffic road rather than that roundabout, complete new pavement layers, improved drainage, and enhanced safety features to ensure safe and efficient traffic movement. However, works are yet to commence due to budgetary constraint. The ministry shall prioritize in the current budgetary cycle to reconstruct the section as long-term corrective measure. So I want to undertake that we'll work and provide funding through the current budgetary cycle. As an immediate measure, Honorable Speaker, members, the section has temporarily been secured using crash barriers to mitigate risk while awaiting full intervention. Right turning movements at the junction remain prohibited as part of the temporary closure measures currently in place. Additional safety enhancements have been implemented, including road marking and installation of 2 retro-reflective road studs. What you see, we call them cat eyes, to improve visibility for road users. On the second question, which is has the ministry has undertaken a road safety audit and black spot mapping for road leading to Kisumu City, and could the Cabinet Secretary provide timelines for implementation of remedial measures, including installation of signage, speed control mechanisms, and enhanced traffic enforcement? Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to respond. Road safety assessment has been conducted on the Kisumu-Kakamega A1 road at various intervals to ensure safety standards and address potential hazards. The initial road safety audit was performed in December 2019, providing a comprehensive evaluation of the road safety features and identifying areas requiring improvement. A follow-up audit was carried out in November 2023 to monitor progress and implement necessary corrective measures. Additionally, a standalone inspection of the 3 roundabouts along Kisumu-Kakamega A1 road was conducted in August 2024. That inspection focused on the Coptic, Konambaya, and Riyadh roundabouts, assessing their design, signage, and overall safety to mitigate accident risk at those critical junctions. The Ministry of Roads and Transport, through the implementing agency, KENHA, and KURA, and of course NTSA, have undertaken road safety audit and black spot survey along the following roads leading to Kisumu County. Road safety inspection within Kisumu-Busia Road, road safety inspection Kisumu-Kiboswa section, road safety inspection at Awasi-Mohoroni Junction, and construction works on audit Mamboleo Great Lakes University. We're down.
Clerk, can you reboot the system?
And these two should be able to be sitting somewhere consulting on one side.
Senator Enoch, Senator Fernandi, and Senator Lelegwe, take your seat.
So construction works on audit at Mamboleo Great Lakes University. Audits have been done equally at pedestrian safety audit at Kisumu County. What is this? Kisumu County? Kisumu County. Sorry about that. Black spot audit, Molem, Namba, Ogena, Nyamasaria, Kasagam, also has been done. Kisumu County Transport Safety Committee, in liaison with Regional Manager NTSA Kisumu and KENHA, have undertaken the following road safety audit at Kisumu-Kericho Highway, Kisumu-Kakamega Highway, Kisumu-Katito Roads, and Kisumu-Busia Road. The status of implementation of the road safety audits, recommendation, and black spot survey currently ongoing are provided in the annexure to this report. And on the third Question C, which is, what measures has the ministry put in place to address the rising number of fatal accidents involving long-distance passenger buses, particularly on roads serving the western region of Kenya? Mr. Speaker, sir, the ministry set up a multi-agency team to conduct urgent road safety audit on accident-prone highway sections. The teams are tasked with reconstructing crash scenes and identifying hazardous design features or missing safety in infrastructure for action. Below is a series of coordinated engineering, enforcement, and operational measures to address the rising number of fatal accidents involving long-distance passenger buses. 1. Enhance enforcement along high-risk corridors. 2 weekly joint enforcement operations are being done. Number 2, mandatory inspection and compliance for long-distance passenger buses and all commercial vehicles. We undertake motor vehicle inspection clinics with public transport operators to enhance vehicle roadworthiness. And 3, sensitization programs for drivers for passenger buses and commercial vehicles. And on this, A, engage the public through local media such as Ramogi TV and local radio channels such as Watch Maba. B, stakeholder sensitization on road safety, targeting heavy commercial vehicles, public service vehicles, border, tuk-tuk operators, and pedestrians. 4, enhance enforcement of the law, redesign of known black spot areas, and further working together with the Ministry of Interior, National Administration through the National Police Service, the enforcement of the laws on maximum hours of driving by PSV drivers will be enhanced. The enforcement on this will include PSV operators license for long distance are the only operators doing long distance. The enforcement of 2 drivers rule for PSV vehicle license for long distance PSV transport. Enforcement for journey plans to ensure that maximum 4 hours of continuous driving are not exceeded by PSV long distance drivers. Drivers of long distance PSV night drivers take a rest break of a maximum of 8 hours before the next shift. Mr. Speaker, I submit. Thank you.
Senator Manzo, any supplementary question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There are 2 supplementary questions. One is in relation to the latest drainage systems in highways. What's the minister doing to make sure that when there is unusual rainfall, that they have marked the spots? Highways are likely to overflow and passengers find themselves in danger, and particularly Mombasa Road, which turned into river recently, Mr. Speaker. And the second one is the minister aware that the NTSA regulations of 2016 on speed limits on highways are now expired? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, take note of those 2 questions as you take more questions. Senator Mwenda Gataya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Waziri, Nithi Bridge is internationally known for fatal accidents. Nithi is from my county. So people from the Nithi would want to know the current status, outstanding scope of works, and expected completion timeline for Nithi Bridge reconstruction, given its history of a fatal accident as I've just indicated.
Senator Mazayo. If you're not ready, Honorable Senator, you can take your time. Senator Beth Siengo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question goes to the CS. Mombasa Road was meant to become a dual carriage, and I understand American company was to do that work. When is it due to be done so that we may reduce accidents? Thank you.
Senator Fernandez.
Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the following question. This issue of accidents, especially in our roads, is a big problem. So, Speaker, I want to ask the Cabinet Minister, Davis Chirchir, there is this road called Eldoret, Musoriat, Kapsabet, Chafakali Road, which is very narrow and has continued to cause a lot of accident and loss of life because it is very narrow. And I'm aware he has a periodic maintenance contractor on site who normally brings only maram on the road, and there is nothing being done. What is he doing, especially now that it's rainy and dark and there are many potholes, especially between Kapsabet and Chafakali and Mbale Road, between Nandi County and Vihiga County, Mr. Speaker, to avoid further losses of life and destructions of vehicles along that road? I yield back, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Boni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like, before I ask my question, to invite the Minister to come to this spot that the Senator of Kisumu has raised. I have traveled widely in this country, Mr. Speaker, and nowhere in Kenya do you find the structure designed at Coptic, at Konambaya, at Riat, and at Kiboswa, opposite the Kisumu Doctors Specialist Plaza. If the reason for demolishing the roundabout at Coptic was because of accidents, the same reason, Mr. Minister, should also invite you to destroy the roundabouts at Konambaya, at Riat, and at Kiboswa, opposite the Specialist Doctors Hospital. My last invite, Mr. Speaker, is to request the Minister to also do a planning for dualling of the road between Kisumu and Kakamega. That is the most productive part of Western Kenya, that particular section. If we don't dual it, everything we do is just knee-jerk.
So what is your question, Senator Boni?
I've asked in that statement. I've asked about, one, knocking out the roundabout at Coptic, which he has done, at Konambaya, at Riat, and at Kiboswa, opposite the Specialist Doctors Hospital. And I've asked, Mr. Speaker, that as the minister plans to come, he should do, is he considering to do dualling of that section of the road from Kakamega to Kisumu? And I added a rider that is the most economic part in terms of transport facilitation infrastructure in the western part of Kenya, combining Nyanza and Western Province, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kenyo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question goes to the Cabinet Secretary. He has indicated to us that the people responsible for investigation is police, which is true. But again, before the police have concluded their investigation, they have gone ahead through the NTSA and decide to do some redesigning. But again, you're telling us you don't have enough resources, or you don't have enough resources to do that work. Then, are you concluding your investigation that it's because of the infrastructure that we had this accident, or the investigation of police should stop? Because the police can end up concluding that the investigation can end up showing that the reason for the accident is driver's negligence. What comes first? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mbugua. Senator Mbugua.
Thank you, Speaker. Mr. Minister, to enhance road safety management in this country, the NTSA introduced the second generation smart driving license. Could you appraise this House the progress in that matter? Thank you.
Senator Mazayo.
Asante mstahiki Spika. Swali langu kwa waziri ni kwamba ni lini ile barabara inayotoka kuanzia ile barabara ya Kilifi ya Kilifi kwenda Mombasa ama Mombasa kwenda Kilifi inayopitia pale Shariani. Kuna barabara inapita pale Shariani kuelekea juu Pazuri, na vile vile kuweza kuendelea kuanzia pale Pazuri ikifuata hiyo barabara kuenda mpaka Pengilikani dispensary. Ni lini barabara hiyo itaweza kutengenezwa ili kuweza kusaidia watu kuenda hospitali na kuweza kutoka hospitali na
Honorable Senator for Kilifi. Yes. The subject matter here is safety in our transport system. So your question should be aligned to the subject matter. Otherwise, there's so many roads that are incomplete, and many honorable senators would wish to know when they'll be completed. But that is not the subject matter today. The safety concerns is, you may proceed, but it must have that component of safety concerns, because that is the main question. So any supplementary question must then flow from that. So you may proceed, Senator Muzai.
Asante, Mr. Speaker. Bwana Waziri, ile barabara ambayo hivi sasa inaunganisha barabara ya kuanzia Mombasa kwenda Kilifi, kuna barabara nyingine ambayo iko katikati mahali panaitwa Shariani, na ilikuwa imeshaanzishwa na imefika juu kabisa. Sasa tunauliza ni lini barabara ile inaweza kuweza kufanywa na kuweza ikapita ili ikafika pande za Pengilikani dispensary, ambapo ni eneo ambalo linachukua wagonjwa wengi sana na wengi wameweza kufariki katika hiyo barabara wakijaribu kuenda hospitali. Kama ikiwa inaweza kufanywa, na unaweza kutueleza kwamba ni lini unafikiria pengine serikali inaweza kuangalia, na wewe mwenye ukiwa hapo kuangalia kuona kwamba hii barabara imetengenezwa.
Senator Mngatana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Kenyans woke up to a shock that the NTSA has brought new rules that would require instant fining of drivers, motorbike riders, without going to court. The system, as explained by NTSA, cameras are supposed to have been installed on the roadside, and if you don't have a seat belt, even if the police don't stop you, you will pay 500. If you park illegally, 10,000. If you are overspeeding, depending on how many kilometers, if it's by over 6 kilometers per hour, you pay 3,000, and so on and so forth. Mr. Speaker, I want the Cabinet Secretary to use this opportunity to tell Kenyans, is the NTSA the body that makes law in this country? And if it is not, and this Senate and the National Assembly is the body that makes law, then the NTSA can only make regulations. Did those regulations pass through the Senate Delegated Legislation Committee? And I'm asking, as a Vice Chair, did the NTSA bring those regulations? Or are they assuming that they can make laws without passing through the people's representation? And how did you allow it, Mr. Waziri, that a body under your regulation, your ministry, can wake up and just abrogate powers that they don't have. And then this matter goes to court, and then the people who are going to pay that money once the case is lost, it's the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I want the minister to clarify, why did they bring regulations without public participation, without bringing it to parliament, and who gave the NTSA the power to make laws in this country and not the elected people in this country? Mr. Speaker, I yield.
Senator Morgo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would like to ask the CS Transport about lorries or trucks of Semtech cement factory in West Pokot that is killing a lot of people every day along that route from Kitale to Sebit, where the factory is. And what is the minister aware, and what action will he take to stop these rogue drivers that have killed a lot of people?
Senator Mandagu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to ask the Cabinet Secretary for Roads, because part of the reason we have accidents is the state of the motor vehicles we use in the country. We have a department called Motor Vehicle Inspection. Where are they trained? How regular do they train? What certification do they have? And if there is no proper training, is it possible for Kenya Institute of Highways and Building to establish a specific curriculum for motor vehicle inspectors, so that we can be confident that those who do motor vehicle inspections have the necessary qualification and certification to certify the roadworthiness of our vehicles? And finally, Honorable Speaker, allow me to congratulate the Cabinet Secretary for Roads. Ever since he went to that docket, Honorable Speaker, we have seen equity in terms of development of roads in this country and the distribution of the resources. And I also want to say that the move by NDSA is innovative, notwithstanding the legal challenges that I have undergone, Honorable Speaker. That matter is going to save Kenyans a lot of time they waste running around police stations and finally even increasing
Senator
the bribery
Mandagu.
index in the country. Thank you very much, Banasias. You may continue in that direction.
The Senate Majority Leader. Senate Majority Leader.
Why are people disrupting Senator Mandagu while he's making a very solid point?
No, he's not supposed to make any point. He's supposed to
Mr.
ask
Speaker,
a question.
no, but we are here talking about road safety.
Yeah,
and
is
people
the
are
minister
talking,
supposed
people
to
like
respond?
Akina Mungatana are speaking a lot of English while people are dying
Yes,
on our
the
roads.
that response must come from the CS, not to a colleague.
Mr. Speaker, our roads must be safe by any means.
Majority Leader,
it doesn't matter.
You cannot purport to respond to that question.
I'm not responding.
The
I was just
CS
commenting.
will do that.
I was commenting on what Senator Mandagu is saying.
You may proceed
that it
to
is the
ask
right
your
thing to
question.
do. Mr. Speaker, I rise.
Senator Mungatana, allow the Majority Leader to ask his question. I have already ruled him out of order and is now orderly. Majority Leader, you may proceed.
Throw him out, Mr. Speaker. You know, and these lawyers must declare interest, Mr. Speaker, because they want to represent people in court instead of allowing technology to work, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question to the minister is with regards to a particular road which he's very much aware of, and it's still on the context of road safety. The road from Londiani to Muhoroni, Mr. Speaker, almost every month there is a fatal crash on that particular road, yet it's a Class A road. There have been promises by the Ministry of Transport, including, I think, in the year 2023, if you recall, Mr. Speaker, when the whole country woke up to the shocking news that nearly 50 market women had been crushed at Londiani Junction, Mr. Speaker. And there was a promise that there was going to be a redesign and an approach to that entrance, right from Londiani all the way to Moroni, because of the steep nature of that particular location. Yet, up to date, Mr. Speaker, we have not heard anything from the Ministry of Roads and Transport. Therefore, in the same spirit like my neighbor, the Senator for Kisumu, I'd wish the Minister to comment and just to give us a general overview of road safety, because a country cannot continue to lose thousands of people on its roads every year, Mr. Speaker, and the ministry is not giving a comprehensive plan on that, how that needs to be addressed. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Seki.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable CS, I want to ask a question in regards to Kitengela in Kajiado County on several footbridges that were meant to be constructed in Kitengela town. These two footbridges will really help the safety of passengers or even people of Kitengela, because most of the public schools, health centers, dispensaries, referral hospitals are in one side of the road, making many people crossing the highway between the town of Kitengela, and more importantly, the Maparasha Bridge in Kajiado Central that has stalled for many years, cutting off the people of the other side from accessing the town of Maparasha. What is the problem of that bridge not have been completed on time?
Senator John Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question to the CS is very simple. And it relates to the accident that claimed the life of the Honorable Cyrus Jirongo, Mr. Speaker. We have never to this day gotten any account of any passenger that was in the bus that supposedly crashed with Honorable Jirongo's vehicle. So my question then to the Speaker, to the CS is, can the NTSA, provide a passenger manifest, Mr. Speaker, of the bus that collided with Honorable Jirongo's car to avoid speculation? Because we have never had any account of any of the passengers that was in that particular bus, and it was a PSV vehicle, Mr. Speaker. That's my question, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mandago, what is? Yeah. Senator Newton, would you wish to be informed?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Speaker, I do not want to be informed by a former governor, Mr. Speaker, because he may not have any information.
Very well,
on
Senator
this particular.
Chuto, you may proceed to ask your question.
You should wait for the torch to stop.
Senator Mandago, your information has been declined.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me, first of all, take this opportunity to thank the Minister and also the Kenya Kwanza government for the road from Rironi to Mau Summit. Honorable Speaker, I asked this question, the question I'm asking now, I asked this question last week. The Minister came before a committee, the Roads Committee, and I asked him this question. And he said he's going to check and answer as soon as possible. So, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Kenyan people, while thanking the Kenya Kwanza government for this road, Rironi, Mau Summit is 175 kilometers, costing 200 billion. And then there is a road, Ogodugu, Bobo, in Burkina Faso, 332 kilometers, costing 46 billion shillings. I want the minister, the CS, to tell this honorable house and Kenyans why should
order, honorable senators, order.
Why,
Senator Fernandi, be orderly.
Honorable Speaker, the question is, this road, Rironi Mau Summit, will cost 1 1.14 billion per kilometer, which is on a PPP, and while
Senator Mandago, that's why we have the CS.
Honorable Speaker, just protect me, Honorable Speaker, while the road in Burkina Faso is costing 139 million per kilometer. So I want the CS to tell us if it is a PPP. Why should this road cost 1.14 billion while the road in Burkina Faso, financed by the government, the currency in US dollars converted into Kenya shillings?
Senator Mandago, what is your point of order?
You know, Honorable Speaker, if we allow honorable members to use the floor of the House, what Senator Chuta is trying to do is to mislead the nation. Understanding what I want to find, Mr. Speaker, can the senator from Marsabit provide the data from Burkina Faso showing that the cost of that road is what is alleging? Honorable Speaker, this is how public are being incited that the government is not spending money fairly. The Cabinet Secretary has not come here to answer questions on behalf of the government of Burkina Faso. We cannot allow you, Senator Chuta. In fact, you should be
order
that a whole kilometer of road is being done.
Senator Mandago, you have made your point of order. Now, Senator Chute, you have to substantiate what you've alleged.
Honorable Speaker.
Either you proceed to do so right now, and if you're not in a position to, you know exactly what to do.
Honorable Speaker, this is...
Order, Senator Boni. This is to Senator Chute. You have alleged, you need to substantiate by providing the evidence that indeed there is a road in Burkina Faso.
Honorable Speaker.
Order, Senator Chute. When the chair is speaking, you keep quiet and take your seat. A point of order has been raised against what you've just said, Senator Chute. You have alleged that there is a road in Burkina Faso, which is way much longer than the Rironi-Mau Summit Road, and it's costing way less than what the government of Kenya is using to do the road in from Rironi to Mau Summit. Now, you need to substantiate that allegation by putting forth evidence that indeed, one, that road exists in Burkina Faso, two, it was tendered for that amount in whatever currency, so that the country and this Senate can have evidence and facts to compare to come to the conclusion that you want them to come to. So would you wish to substantiate right now? If you're not in a position to, you may proceed to seek to clarify on a... Senator Chute, you may proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I'm just wondering, this is a question I've posed to the CS, which is capable to answer those questions.
And the chair has made a certain direction,
fine,
which you need to abide.
Honorable Speaker, that is fine. I have all the evidences, and I wish you've asked, you should have given me time to ask the question. If the CS says it's okay, it is there, then there is no problem. If it is not there, then that is the time I'll bring evidence.
You see,
but because you've ruled,
Honorable Chute, I have given a directive on this matter.
That is a premature directive, but fine. My question is, Honorable Speaker, is if...
Honorable Chute, you're out of order. You either proceed to substantiate or I'll ask you to leave the chamber.
Honorable Speaker, I will do that.
Good.
Given time. But can I ask my question now?
Are you in a position to substantiate instantly? If not, you know what to do.
Honorable Speaker, I think you are being unfair to me. Because what I am trying to do is...
It is you who has alleged, and who alleges proves.
Not alleging, I have asked question. And I want an answer on my question. It's a question time.
Senator Chute, you are basically wasting the Senate's time. I have given you a very straightforward... Senator Kinyua, leave the chamber immediately.
But it's supposed to be, how can you produce evidence instantly? Even the minister...
So, Senator Chute, I have asked you, if you're not in a position to substantiate instantly under standing order, you may do so during the next sitting. So are you in a position to substantiate now, or you'd wish to do so during the next sitting?
Honorable Speaker, I'll do it in the next sitting, but allow me to ask my question.
Of course, I will allow you to ask your question.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay, let me ask.
Are you in a position to substantiate that allegation now, or you'd wish to seek for further time to do so the next sitting?
I will seek for further time.
Good. Now you may proceed to ask your question.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Order, Senator Fernandi. Senator Chute, conclude, please.
Thank you.
Conclude, Senator Chute.
Honorable Speaker, my question is very simple and clear. Cost of doing this road, Rironi-Mau Summit, is 1.14 billion. The cost in Ouagadougou border is 139 million per kilometer. Can the CS tell us if this is the Rironi road is PPP, how is it possible that the road in Ouagadougou is almost a quarter cheaper, three-quarter cheaper than this
Senator Chute, let me guide you. Let me take it slowly so that you understand. As we speak now, you are, as far as the road in Burkina Faso is concerned, nobody has any facts other than you. And to help this House and your colleagues to appreciate your contribution, you need to table evidence that indeed, one, that road in Burkina Faso exists. Two, order, Senator Fernandi. So basically, even for the minister to flow with you, he needs those facts. And that's why the senator for Uasin Gishu rose on a point of order, seeking to have you substantiate by putting the facts on the table, in terms of, by putting evidence on the table on the road that you're alleging exists in Burkina Faso. You can imagine if it turns out that it doesn't exist. And that's why they want to know, is this road real? Are the facts being alleged true? So that they can be able to appreciate your contribution. So any question touching on that road that is yet to be substantiated cannot fly. Senator Beatrice Akenye.
Honorable Speaker.
I'll come to you, Senator Boni. Let's hear the question.
Honorable Speaker, I want you to go on record that as a people from the Western region, we would like that road to be done like yesterday. Senator Chute seems not to know the experience we have had over the years. Honorable Speaker, coming to my question, to the CS roads, CS, why wouldn't we as a nation declare road accidents as a national disaster, so that as a country we can put more focus on that based on the people we have lost and continue to lose. That includes even the loss of border people. Thank you.
Senator Boni, what's your intervention?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am concerned purely on a matter of procedure. The minister has had the question. He has not been given an opportunity to say whether the things, because he's supposed to be informed, that the member of the Senate is alleging are false or not. Mr. Speaker, it's marks of an attempt of the Senator of Uasin Gishu and Nandi to shield the minister.
Senator Boni. Senator Boni.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Just take your seat. Take your seat. If anything, Senator Boni, the question by Senator Chute is not admissible. It's not a supplementary question. Even to give him all that latitude, I was hoping ultimately he will coin it in such a way that it comes out as a supplementary question. It has zero concerns of safety because the subject matter of the primary question is safety in our transport system. Senator Chute's concern is the cost of a road, which has got nothing to do with the primary question. And therefore, let's leave it there, because I ought to have ruled him out of order from the onset. But I allowed him to continue talking, hoping that ultimately he'll bring out the safety aspect of his question, which he failed to do. Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond. Honorable CS, you may now proceed to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Let me start with the question on the drainage in our highways, which has been raised, caused concerns with the flooding that we recently witnessed, and what is the government doing to address this challenge, particularly in our cities. Honorable members, you do know that under the Cities and Urban Act, the seat of the capital city of Kenya is singled out for the national government to cooperate with the host county of the city, the seat of the city, to work on infrastructure and really bring out the character of the capital city of the country. And through that proviso in the Cities and Urban Act, I think it is Section 6, we have lately signed a memorandum with the Nairobi County government to work together and address the challenges of drainage, the challenges of road networks, and lighting of our roads in the city. To that extent, we have a program that we're currently implementing with the Nairobi County government to do that. We are aware that the city has expanded, there's been so much buildings and paving, and that way the seepage area for the stormwater is very limited. We need to expand our drainages. We need to improve on the various aspects of the population growth and the great development in the city. And we are working on that as we currently to ensure that we do dimension and work on the kind of drainages that can support our city and mitigate the challenge of floods when we have the kind of rains we lately witnessed. So, Honorable Speaker, members of Senate, to that extent, for example, the Ministry of Roads through Kura is put some budget of about 8 billion Kenya shillings to support Nairobi County government to address some of those challenges, and have design that will address dimensions necessary to offtake the kind of water when we have that kind of rains that we recently had. Let me with respect to NTSA regulations and whether they came to this, I think the question more importantly was the 2016 speed limits expired, and I'm in the house with our new CEO for NTSA, and I'm advised that there's a lot of work being done by NTSA currently, engaging stakeholders and standards body, reviewing the speed limit regulations and standards, and we are working on that to ensure that we do update and ensure that the speed limit regulations are in place. The question from Wenda Gataya on Nithi Bridge. Let me confirm, honorable members, that this Nithi Bridge, which has been a cause of pain and deaths in that particular region between Meru and Nithi, Tharaka Nithi County, is being designed. We are just finishing the design. We are paying a lot of attention to this, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. The Deputy President would be going to inspect works that are due to start in earnest on this particular bridge. We've designed a bridge which is 900 meters long, a straight bridge, and 100 meters high. The bridge is being checked for the various design details and integrity before we can approve and start construction. We've already procured a contractor. The bridge is funded, and groundbreaking will be done in due course as soon as we sign off the design. And I think the contractor has started mobilizing to site. So Nithi Bridge, a 900-meter long bridge, straight bridge, and 100 meters high, will be a design masterpiece that on the detailed cost of doing this particular road. We look more importantly at value for money. We look more importantly at the equity, debt equity ratios in terms of the investor or the concessionaire. Have they demonstrated capacity to raise the equity? We'll then go to the development phase and check things like return on investment to make sure that the value for money, or to the extent, are you basically going to charge too much to be able to recoup your investment, or is the return on your equity within the reasonable return on investments that are allowable within 10% and so on and so forth. So that is currently work in progress. And it's important that, noting that Mombasa, Nairobi, Nakuru, all the way to Malaba is the northern corridor that services the landlocked countries of Uganda, Rwanda, DRC. These are very important corridor to the development not only of our country, but the entire region. And so this is of high priority, and we are working on the details, and work is currently going on. Cherarge's question on Eldoret Mosoriot, I think, is that Eldoret Mosoriot Mlango all the way through the city going up to Iten? Is that the opposite direction? I think because we're talking today about road safety and the challenge, and I do know the road, I drive that road quite a bit, and it's a fairly narrow road. We are looking in the context of road safety on expanding and widening certain sections of our national trunk networks to address the concern that has been raised by the House on the road safety on our roads. Certain corners and are a bit tight for drivers to navigate, and the point is taken. Let me see the redesign. Kenya is not here with me today. I just came with NTSA, but I'll take concern of this Eldoret Mosoriot road and confirm, and then really come back to the House to confirm on the plans to widen this road and address the challenge of road safety. I now understand. I basically mixed up because the Mosoriot Mlango going to Eldoret and going all the way to Iten have plans for dueling, but I now understand Mosoriot coming down to Kapsabet to Chevakali. I'll follow up that and provide the full information on the plans to widen this corridor and address the road safety of our motorists. Bonnie, on the concern of the purpose why I was in the house today regarding that accident, Konambaya, Riyadh, Coptic, and the redesign, like I said, has been done. You know, members, as economy grows and as vehicle population grows, the design of our roads will need to improve to address the growing population and the findings of the older designs in our roads. It will be nice to have roads which are fairly well motorable, but more importantly, which are well designed and which are not difficult to drive, because you do realize, all of us as drivers, that certain corners are difficult to basically navigate. And therefore, on this particular approach to Riyadh from Konambaya and Coptic and that particular roundabout, the redesigns have been done, like I mentioned in the substantive response to the question by Professor Senator Ojenda. And I also did undertake that we'll provide a budget to correct that challenge, improve the design. And to answer that question together with what the police are doing, certainly, as we speak today, vehicles are motoring on that road, and we are not getting accidents by the minute, by the hour. So when an accident happens, the question, is it because of the road or is it because of the driver? It can be either. And therefore, before we finish the investigation, it becomes difficult to apportion liability to say the design of the road could have been a contributor. Could the driver have been having a challenge? Was the vehicle properly in roadworthy condition, and so on and so forth? So let's allow the investigation to be completed by National Police Service, but more importantly, allow us to improve the aspects of design and this particular section of the road, as has been done by the various agencies that I did provide in my substantive response. On the dueling of Kakamega-Kisumu road, I think members, you do know that Parliament did really, well, there was a lot of support on the National Infrastructure Fund. The National Infrastructure Fund, which is a fund which has been set up through recycling of mature assets to be able to accelerate development in the other areas where we need funding. And one of the areas which has been identified is using a part of this fund to de-risk dueling of our roads in terms of investors coming in and government participating in as an investor in dueling of our roads. And one of the roads we are currently looking at traffic profiles to confirm bankability based on the population of cars is the Kakamega. Talk to that. We'll continuously improve the design of our highways to be better motorable based on, like when we build roads today under KERA, we basically follow the old road corridor. And as the road is upgraded from Class D to Class C to Class B and A, we'll need to improve the design, and sometimes it requires more corridor, and therefore we need to acquire more land to be able to do a better design of the roads and reduce the corners and improve the design of the road. So we'll continue to work on the design of roads as we get more data to improve the design of our roads. But on the case of infrastructure improvement and driver negligence, those are two separate issues. And I think as we finish this particular investigation, we'll be able to apportion the concern, the blame, into do we need to improve certain sections of the road? And yes, we are improving for that particular Konambaya, Riyadh, Coptic in Kisumu. But where there is apportionment to the driver's negligence or driving under influence or vehicles which are road unworthy, that also must be brought to question. Mheshimiwa Madzayo, question from Senator Mungatana on instant fines is currently in court. I want to confirm, Senator Mungatana, that the minor offenses under the Traffic Act, which was passed by Parliament in 2016, did address all the regulations that are pertaining to minor offenses. And they are under these minor offenses, which could be treated as administrative. And we are working with judiciary and the Kenya law reform to basically segregate or separate the minor fines from the fines or from the offenses which must go to court. We are working with the Kenya Law Reform Commission. We are working, of course, with NTSA and all the stakeholders to ensure that we do provide this instant fine system, which is really a facilitation of infractions, minor infractions in our roads that should not really go to court and congest our courts. But more importantly, that should give you a convenience. If I'm arrested driving from Nakuru to Nairobi, I don't want to go back to Nakuru court if I acknowledge that I've been caught overspeeding and under the minor offenses infraction, I think it's under Section 107 of the Traffic Act, I'm willing to pay the fine and I'm let go. Obviously, what the system does, honorable members, is when you know you are being watched, you drive carefully and you don't endanger other road users. But if you are found to have made or had that kind of infraction and you are willing to pay and you don't have to go to court, come to Nairobi and drive back to Nakuru, lose time, occupy court time and so on and so forth, and the fine is 500 shillings, you can pay. We did under implementation, and like I said, this thing is in court, and I don't really to delve much into what could be seen as prejudice. If I'm willing to pay, I should pay and be let go. But if I'm not willing to pay and I want to go back to, I want to come to Nairobi and go back to Nakuru to attend court, I should also be allowed to do that. So it's really a solution that I think we need to do more communication to Kenyans to appreciate that this is in the interest of saving your time, this is in the interest of saving court time, this is in the interest of ensuring that we enhance road safety and curtail the loss of lives in our roads, which come about due to infractions, however minor they may be. If you don't stop in a junction and a speeding vehicle on the main highway basically causes an accident and lose lives, the question is why wouldn't we want to have a system that is convenient and that helps to watch over us and inform us that you are being watched? In fact, as a matter of, I'm sure most of honorable members in the House today drive vehicles with lane-assisted driving, and the vehicle warns you that you are going out of the lane. Can you use an indicator? Don't just, could you be asleep? And that could be the reason why you are going out of the lane. So, honorable members, we basically, this honorable Mungatana, I wish to confirm, came into Parliament under the minor offences regulations when the Traffic Act was amended in 2016, and so the due process was followed, as it were. Honorable Morgul, lorries and trucks kind of ferrying cement in that West Pokot factory, cement factory. I will take up this in more detail with Nahashon, the DG, NTSA, and we check the statistics. If that is the case, we need to seriously get mitigation, put in safety measures to ensure that this industry, which is a great employer, economic activity going on in West Pokot, does not have vices which end up losing lives. So we'll take up with NTSA and confirm that we will improve the safety and reduce the loss of lives or eradicate the loss of lives being caused by the lorries in this particular catchment in West Pokot where we manufacture cement. Senator Mandago, motor vehicle inspection is something important insofar as road safety is concerned. And I want to confirm, honorable members, that whereas government has traditionally invested to run motor inspection centers across the country, it's very expensive for government when social infrastructure in schools, hospitals is competing for resources. And what we are doing currently is looking at franchising the motor vehicle inspection so that the private sector under PPP can offtake and support us to set up motor vehicle inspection centers across the various counties of the country. Sometimes accidents can just be caused because a wiper blade is not working. And if that vehicle was inspected and your wiper blades are working well, when you get a dirt splash on your screen, you are able to respond by cleaning the windscreen immediately. So motor vehicle inspection is important. As regarding training of the employees of the motor vehicle inspection centers, we do train them at NITA, National Institute for Training Authority. And yes, I hear we probably need to enhance the training, but more importantly, we will be franchising under PPP the motor vehicle inspection centers and opening several inspection centers across the country. Senator Aaron Cheruyot on Londiani Moroni, that difficult section after teeing off Londiani towards Moroni, we are working on that. I think the designs were completed. We just need to put in some funding to correct the challenge and reduce the loss of lives or eradicate the loss of lives on this section of Londiani Moroni Road. And I will equally follow up how far we are on funding this particular segment of Londiani Moroni Road. Senator Seki, Kajiado, footbridges. Let me just take this opportunity, Speaker, honorable members, to confirm that bridges is a major concern in this country. We don't have enough crossing for our children to go to school, to cross certain sections of the road. And it's a safety issue when a road which is dual with 3 lanes on either side and children are having to cross the road and run almost 50 meters across the road because of the dual road. And therefore, bridges become very important. But more importantly, honorable Speaker, members, we are doing a framework agreement to bring in Bailey bridges. Bailey bridges can be installed quickly. Bailey bridges are basically military design bridges for quick deployment to address the various crossings across the country. And Senator Seki, we will be deploying several bridges across the country to address crossings, address the safety of our children crossing and everybody crossing the major highways. And on the Mabasha Bridge, let me follow on that to find out completion of that particular bridge, which has delayed. Let me confirm at this stage that we've paid all the pending bills to contractors. And if there is any project that is slowed down, it's not because of pending bills and will be more harder in administrative management of the contractors to make sure that they deliver on time. And so I'll follow up on this Mabasha Bridge in Kajiado. Senator Nyotu on Jirongo's death and whether the manifest for passengers in the bus is maintained. A manifest would normally either be captured at when passengers are loading a bus, or it would be captured through an investigative process, like in a case when an accident has happened, was the police able to capture the manifest of those who were in the bus? I don't have the details, but let me undertake to get the details and find out whether there was a manifest. But again, that's a subject for investigation, and I think the National Police Service investigation is undertaking that, but I can find out whether there was a manifest. You know, there would be a manifest if it is a very structured public transport vehicle where people book ahead of boarding. But if it is a case where people are the kind of matatu system, you do know that we don't have manifest before people board. But obviously there should be a manifest after the accident, depending on how investigations are being conducted. I undertake to follow up on that. Senator Chute, on the concern of Rironi Mau Summit, the great piece of infrastructure that we are developing for the people of Western Kenya. And I could take this together with Senator Beatrice's question on Rironi Mau Summit. We did visit with the members of the National Assembly Rironi Mau Summit last week to see the progress of works done, and just to report and confirm that works is going on, and sometimes in August, September this year, in another 6 months, we'll open the Rironi all the way to Naivasha to traffic, having dualed to completion. Subsequently, the contractor will go down to open the 57-kilometer road, which is called A8 South. This is Rironi, Maimayu, Naivasha. Having completed the upper section, we'll go to Rironi, Maimayu, Naivasha, and work on that section, which will involve cutting the escarpment and dualing that road. And obviously, when you're having to build a road through escarpment and put in heavy breaches and the kind of work that will go on in the escarpment, certainly cost will not be like when you are building a road through a geologically well flat area. And so to basically answer that question, we'll need to see what kind of geological work in Okadugu, Burkina Faso, once we see the data has been directed by the speaker, and compare it with not the 175-kilometer road, but 232 kilometers. The road we are building, Honorable Speaker, for the information of Senator Jute, is not 175 kilometers. We are building 232 kilometers of road, because we are also building through the escarpment. But more importantly, like I said, the kind of geology will be things that we need to look at. We are very keen, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, to make sure that we don't build expensive roads because it takes up the cost of doing business. This will be a dual road. And if a road is built expensively, and I did talk about value for money, and that is why we don't allow investors to have a return more than 10% of their equity. It can make our country an expensive destination to do business. Industrialization will not be able to attract industry because we are not a least cost country, and therefore industry will move to other more competitive destinations. So we're very conscious. Let's see the data as directed speaker from Chute. We'll do comparative, and if there are lessons to be learned, that will be great. So Rironi is going on well, and on the section from Mau Summit all the way to the border in Malava and going through Kisumu to the other side, we've got funding from AIIB. This is Asia Infrastructure Investment Fund. We've got some funding, some donor, some fund. What do you call it? We've got some donor funding to do feasibility study, which is currently ongoing. It is a grant. It is a grant from Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank to do the study on that section of the corridor, and that is currently going on. Road accidents, as a national disaster, there's so much that we need to do. And we are doing that. Like I've mentioned, we are franchising motor vehicle inspections. We have to do a lot in automating and employing technology in our roads. The kind of things we are doing in instant fine or junction cameras that are currently being implemented by Kura to ensure that we do support drivers to ensure that they don't fall asleep while driving, that they don't the minor infractions are managed using employing technology and so on and so forth. But it is a debate we need to have to see whether it's time to declare road accidents a national disaster. But there's so much that we can still do. Honorable Speaker, I think I want to, that's about the questions I captured for now. I thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable CS. Honorable members, you know matters roads elicit a lot of attention in this house according to my experience. But we have a few other members who would like to ask supplementary questions. We take very brief time, and also the CS will, you know, the CS is also generous with information. Is giving detailed information to members. So we start with Senator Olekina Rendamo. Just one supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine will be very brief. And the CS, let me appreciate you for your diligence in responding to queries. I have raised this matter with you, but this morning when the residents of Narok heard that you are coming, it flooded my phone with messages. And I'm just going to read the message, the question, so that I can be brief. Given that the Narok Sekenani Road, C12, was engineered as a low-volume sealed road, LVSR, specifically to boost tourism, what measures is the ministry taking to enforce strict axle load limits and prevent its rapid destruction by heavy industrial vehicles, such as those carrying sand and construction material, which exceed its design capacity? Specifically, Mr. Speaker, there's a company called Gavin Holding Limited from Kisumu, which is currently transporting hundreds of truckloads of sand at a capacity of 32,000 kilograms. And this road is completely dilapidated, making it very difficult for even tourists to be able to get to the Masai Mara. So, Mr. Speaker, I'd like that question specifically answered and action taken to stop this heavy trafficking of those roads, in that road.
Senator Abbas Sheikh.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, first I want to thank the Waziri. And I want to ask, Waziri, there's this road which was so much publicized in this country. And Kenyans look forward to see the road from Solo to Wajir Mandera done. And as been promised, and guys have even formed musics for that road, calling beautiful names. The road actually is moving at a very slow pace. That is actually even worrying us that this road might not be completed in time, or maybe in the near future. I wanted to know, too, the road is being done in patches. And when it rains, like this time now it rained. And you know, that's the only lifeline that we have, the road we have to Mandera. The roads are becoming impassable almost. So, for one, what is the time frame, and what is the alternative pathway for those vehicles ferrying food and items to various towns in northern Kenya? And when will the road be, at least what is the hope that we are going to get road will be completed in time? The most thing worrying is the food transport and the old materials for transport.
The CS got your message.
Thank you.
Your supplementary question. Senator Sifuna Edwin.
Waziri, you are aware of the problems that are facing the people of Nairobi during the current rains. One of the major roads that floods and brings the entire city to a standstill is Mombasa Road. Waziri, there was 9 billion shillings that was given for the repair of that road after the construction of the expressway. We want to know, are there any plans to redesign Mombasa Road, the old Mombasa Road,
to upgrade the drainage system on that road and all the other national highways in Nairobi so that we avoid that flooding. Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
Federal Senator Fatuma Duro.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Waziri, I wanted to ask that most of the roads in our counties are maram roads. And every year during the rainy seasons, those roads are washed away. Do you have structured mechanisms where on a yearly basis that you are able to maintain those roads? I thank you.
Senator Okongo Mogeni.
Yes, I wanted to ask Waziri, last time he was here, Mr. Speaker, sir, he promised to erect bumps on Chebirate Nyansiongo Metamayo Road that has been prone to many accidents. Since the time he was here, we have had 2 more fatal accidents, and he had promised that the government was considering expanding that road by dwelling it because of the topography of that area. Could Waziri tell us what progress he has made towards fulfilling the promise that he made when he last appeared before the House? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you can answer those supplementary questions.
Thank you again, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members. Olekina, I had a short meeting session with him yesterday, and we discussed this concern on Narok-Sekanani Road. It's a big piece of infrastructure servicing the Mara, where we pride ourselves as a country as the 8th wonder of the world with respect to the wild beast migration. And the Narok-Sekanani Road should not be in that state in which it is at the moment. We are looking at the contractor who is currently doing the periodic maintenance on the road like we agreed. But more importantly, we have scheduled an upgrading of this particular road immediately through a reseal of the entire road so that we don't do patching. And more importantly, address the concern of the axle loads on this particular road. I will be picking up with Kenya, particularly this particular cabin holding investor in Kisumu, who is tracking at overweight, but more importantly to address that not just because of the one transporter. We will look at the need once we upgrade this road on putting a weighbridge to support the kind of weights that can be taken by this road. Because obviously the tourist kind of transport system don't have the kind of weights that we've designed for the road. And therefore tourism and the transportation of people into the Masai Mara is not the challenge. The challenge are the transporters who are ferrying building materials, sand, all the way into Kisumu. I was asking, I thought there's enough sand in Kisumu. Why are we ferrying sand from Masai Mara to Kisumu? And but we'll take up that. The concern of Mheshimiwa Sifuna, Senator Sifuna, yes, we have a major contractor picking up JKIA Road, JKIA to ABC Place. We are redesigning, we're running a beautification program on this particular road, which will address all the drainages. It's a major project that has just started. In fact, it just started in the last 2 weeks. Let me confirm. There is a contractor, CRBC, a major contractor in this country, who are undertaking major works on this particular road, including beautification of this particular road, lighting, beautiful gardens, but more importantly, drainages that can offtake the amount of water. One of the reasons why we basically were aligned towards CRBC is because a lot of the drained water coming from the expressway and being taken by the underpass, which has not been improved and cannot offtake the amount of water, is for CRBC to, and of course the services within the road. This is going to be a quick project. It will be finished within the next 4 to 6 months, and we'll see a very beautiful highway, not just beautiful, drainages being addressed, lighting, modern lighting all the way from JKIA to ABC Place, and we'll see that in a short while. The contractor has just started work, and we expect to see a completion within 6 months, and that way we should not expect the challenge that we saw in Mombasa Road with the short rains. Senator Dulo, on structured mechanism to maintain our roads, you do know that the bill is before, the amendments is before Senate on Section 6 and Section 47 of the Kenya Roads Board Act, which has a structured mechanism for maintenance of road through RDLF, or Roads Maintenance Levy. It's a levy that we collect about 70-80 billion every year, and with devolved roads and the requirements of Schedule 4 of the Constitution, the courts did give direction to make good the fact that devolution resources follow devolved functions, and therefore the bill is before this House to ensure that the county roads do get a share of the RMLF for maintenance of roads, and equally as we have a structured mechanism through that fund. Obviously, we'll need more as the infrastructure grows, and we'll continue to work together. One of the initiatives which is being taken, will be taken by the National Infrastructure Fund, is to remove the national highways from this maintenance levy. National highways can maintain themselves through their own generated revenues, through concessioning, and that money that has been held by Kenya on the national trunk network can go more into the rural roads for maintenance. So those are some of the initiatives where we see more money coming to support this structured mechanism for maintaining our roads. Senator Omugeni Ogongo, bumps, I need to follow up this. There is no reason why we have not done. That is the easiest ask, and we should have finished with that. I'll follow up. But on the Chebilat, Nyasiongo, that has been programmed for widening, because that is a very narrow section, and like many other areas, including the Mosoriot we talked about with Senator Cherargei, or rather in Cherargei's question, we need to widen that corridor and reduce the accidents. On Abbas' question on Wajir Isiolo, let me confirm that the programs on Isiolo, Kulamawe, going all the way through to Ramo Mandera, we have contractors in all the sections except Samata, Modogashe Samata, and of course Ramo to Mandera. Those were under annuity. Those two sections of the infrastructure, about 143 kilometers, were under annuity. But the annuity cost was very high. The bid price we got was about 60 billion for those two P sections. We then pulled out of annuity, and that has taken time, but we've successfully terminated annuity, and we have agreed with World Bank to take over those two pieces of sections, and we'll be constructing for about 26 billion compared to the 66 billion that could have been deployed on annuity. So World Bank has taken off those particular piece of roads. There'll be a board meeting, I'm told, on 27th of this month, and we do expect that before we come to Wajir for the celebrations of Madaraka Day in 1st of June, we should have contractors in all the segments of the roads from Isiolo to Mandera. So we are on top of this. It's a great development coming into the region, together with social and economic investments along the corridor. And of course, the cost of security that we are deploying to support the contractors in that corridor means we have to do it very quickly, because not to have contractors in certain sections, whereas we've deployed a 7 billion budget to support security over the construction time, means it will be very expensive to construct that piece of infrastructure. So I want to assure the House, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Abbas, that we are working on the shortest possible time to basically deliver this infrastructure, because it's expensive, from security to the fact that World Bank is supporting us. I don't think funding is a challenge. Most of the sections have just started. So you could see, you know, to construct roads in that section, we build camps which are built with bunkers. And Abbas will know that. A constructor site is in a bunker for security. So that gets very expensive. But a lot of work is being done. We have monthly meetings with my colleague from Interior and my colleague from Defense to address security issues, because the interplay between even the government of where the contractors mostly come from is something that they keep cautioning us and questioning us every so often as to whether their contractors are safe. But I want to assure the House that we are on top of this, and by 1st of June, when we go for celebration of Madaraka Day in Wajir town or Wajir County, there'll be contractors in those two pieces of sections that don't have contractors, and therefore accelerate the whole piece of infrastructure to completion. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Who is out of order now, Senator Chute? No, before I said Senator Sifuna under question on Mombasa Road, which I think is not satisfied with it. I give him 1 minute. Honorable members who have been on this question, one question for almost 2 hours now. So we must really move out of this.
Thank you for that indulgence, Speaker. The CS Chirchir knows that I have a lot of respect for him, but that answer that he has given today has fallen short in two material respects. The people of Nairobi are telling me, Honorable CS, that it is not the lack of flowers on Mombasa Road that is causing them to sleep on the road. It is the flooding. So please, before you address issues of beautification and streetlights, we want a solid plan on how to drain water on Mombasa Road. And secondly, Honorable Speaker, he has not addressed himself to the question of the 9 billion that had already been given to the previous contractor, who we were told, Speaker, is a company associated with one member of parliament here. We want to be told he was given a tender to repair the damage that was done. Honorable Speaker, the damage that was done during construction of the expressway, there was money that was allocated for that, and it has not been done. So he has not addressed that, and he needs to prioritize drainage over flowers.
Senator Sifuna, you know, once the CS gives commitment, like he said, within 4 months you will see those developments done. He didn't say 4 months. He said so. You know, that is why I'm here to listen to all the details. He gave a commitment between 4 to 6 months, the road will be done, good drainage, beautification, and all those things. He committed himself to do that. And the Secretariat have captured that commitment. So after 4 months, we will be able to raise. Like here, there are commitments for July, which I'll be asking before he leaves, what happened to those commitments. So I want to close this matter now. Senator Lemaretian. A very simple question, straight to the point, within 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I would just like to get a clarification for the residents of Samburu County and its neighboring counties on what is the status of the Maralal-Baragoi highway that was being constructed, and when is the work on the ground supposed to begin? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Ojenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I had a short follow-up question to the CS Rhodes, who has answered or responded to most of my questions in detail. CS, you have referred, and in your response, you have stated that the construction work for the part of Coptic Road that caused the fatal accident, the Coptic area crash road, there's already a plan to pave, to repair, and to reconstruct. I also note that you have also said that the other problematic area, the black spot area of Molem, Nambaokana, Nyamasari, and Kasagam Road are also under consideration. CS, just confirm to me the time frame. The time frame. When will this work start? Because as things stand now, that area is a danger, in itself a danger. What the roads people have done in the Coptic area black spot is itself a danger, and we may witness another accident before the works begin. Thank you.
Senators, once you are given time to execute a supplementary question, you should stick to one shot, just one. Senator Orekina.
Thank you, Speaker. Cabinet Secretary, people are watching in Narok, and I just wanted to know whether it's possible, and they appreciate what your response, whether it's possible to send a mobile weighbridge to that road immediately, so that we can try and save at least that road for the high season coming in. We know you spent 3 billion shillings to build that road. We don't want to see the 3 billion go to waste. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Medu, you know, this is like you are making like you are not sure whether it was this question because you have just pressed the system.
Mr. Speaker, I was very certain that I want to ask this question, unless the popping up has just happened on your screen now. I think I've been since I came, and mine is also very straight and short, precisely on two roads that the CS is very well aware of. The road from now Wanjohi going to Kinangop, and the road from Mairuinya to Shamata and Kariamu. And the reason why I know the CS is well aware about is because, and my question is specific. Why is it that every time the president visits Nyandarua, he visits Kinangop and visits Daragwa, the contractor comes back on site? When he leaves, Mr. Speaker, I know you are very, very, just relax, Senator Jaragai. I'm just about to finish, Speaker.
Point of order?
I rise under Standing Order 51B. A question shall not be made on the pretext for debate. That is part A, 3A, and, Mr. Speaker, B of include the name of a person, nor any expression not strictly necessary to render the request intelligible, and also on supplementary question, it must be attached to the root question. I appreciate our brother just walked in. It must on the safety of the road. Is it in good faith, or is it in order for the Senator of Nyandarua to try and ask questions that is relevant and introduce a debate, Mr. Speaker, and bringing the president into the mix? He can do those politics on the corridors of streets.
Senator Medu, you know, if you're asking a question on that road safety, don't introduce other names of members of the public who cannot be able to come to this floor. So don't take advantage of your presence here to mention other names. That will not be allowed.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Then let me work on the, you know, some people here get very agitated when we speak about the president.
We have no people in this house. We have honorable senators.
Okay, some honorable senators get very agitated when we mention the president. I mean, he's the president of Kenya. If he doesn't want to be mentioned, he has other duties
You have no question to ask?
undertake. So my question on safety, Mr. Speaker, and I don't know why this Senator Jaragai keeps disturbing people. Why don't you allow us to speak? I've been given the floor. You shall get an opportunity to speak. Just keep quiet and allow
why
us to
speak. Why are you addressing Senator Chalgei?
Because he's the only one who is
Who
disturbing
gave you
me.
the floor?
It is you who gave me the floor.
Then why are you addressing Chalgei?
Why are you allowing him to shout at me?
No. Now you are
Okay.
degenerating this house into a showdown, which I can't allow you to do that.
Okay. Why don't he allow me to ask my question? My question is on safety. So, Mr. Speaker, the question I was asking, whether he's aware that out of the nature of that road, especially the section between Manyora to Shamata, we have had countless number of accidents because you see, the contractors leave they come to site and then they leave, and they leave the road in very, very, very bad, in a more state than they even found it. And so therefore, we keep getting our vehicles, many accidents happen out of that negligence of the contractors. That is my question.
So CS, just respond to those few questions and then we close this session.
The question from Mheshimiwa Sena on Maralal Baragoi, let me confirm, Honorable Speaker, members, that we did procure a contractor for
Senator
Maralal.
Chute, you cannot interrupt the CS. Yeah, you wait until he finishes.
We did procure a contractor for Maralal to Suyani towards Baragoi for 20 kilometers of pitmen, upgrading to pitmen, and equally for Kisima, Sura Aduru, on this other lower side for upgrading of 20 kilometers. Work should have started in earnest because this road was equally launched, and I will follow up to make sure that work has started. But yes, we have a contractor on these two pieces of infrastructure from Maralal towards Baragoi, 30 kilometers to Suyani, and 20 kilometers from Kisima to Sura Aduru, upgrading equally 20 kilometers. That will give a very good look to Maralal town, because you will have 30 kilometers towards Baragoi on the upper side, and you will have another 20 kilometers addition to the current tarmac that reaches Kisima today. With respect to Tom Agenda's question, time frame, before, Honorable Speaker, before Tom Agenda came to the House, I undertook that the designs have been completed and we are going to make budgetary accommodation for that section in the current financial year, and thereafter procure a contractor to correct and build the design that we have already done. With respect to Kinangop, we do know that I did mention equally that before Senator Fonyandarwa came into the House, I had indicated that we've paid all the pending bills to contractors. We had a big challenge, and without paying those contractors, and we owed them up to 175 billion. And if they abandoned work, it was upon us to provide the funding. We've now made requisite funding. We've gotten them back to work, and they don't have any excuse for abandoning work. So this particular infrastructure, Mailikumi, Subuku, Sipalas, Shamata, all the way to these Shamata girls and so on and so forth, with that contractor, Boyman, Basenga, and all these infrastructures, particularly the ones funded by CDB, will not slow down. We'll ensure that the contractors stay on course, because as we speak today, there is no contractor who we owe money, and therefore we'll be strict to make sure that if it is a capacity of the contractor, we'll call them out. But if it is a question of funding, we have paid them, and we've made plans to continue supporting the contractors as they give us certificate for works done. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I want to thank you. Regarding Olekina's question on providing a mobile weighbridge, like I said, this is a piece of infrastructure. Weighbridges have only traditionally been more on national trunk networks with Kenya. We are having programs to bring in mobile weighbridge for Kenya roads. It's a Kenya road. So we'll undertake to provide a mobile weighbridge to support that infrastructure. I want to undertake that. Thank you. Thank you, Speaker. And thank you, members.
Honorable says our new member here is not being recognized by the system. So you can use the dispatch to ask your question. It's very fast from Baringo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and Honorable CS. I've risen to inquire a question about the road from Laikipia, Churo, all the way to Loruk and Marigat. And it also connects people from Kabedo, Chemalingot going to Nakuru. Mr. Speaker, last year, there have been a water increment in Lake Baringo, and it has totally swallowed the road from Loruk to Nakuru. And this year again, the situation is worsening, Mr. CS. And I want to know whether the ministry is aware about the situation, because currently people are using private land for transportation. And anytime, the owner of the land may refuse his land to be used, and will be totally on mess. So, Mr. CS, I want to know whether your ministry is aware, and if so, what are the measures you've taken to ensure that the situation is bring to normality? Thank you.
Yes, CS.
Thank you, Speaker. I'll need to check. I don't know whether is the Luruk Marigat within the. This is the road from. Is it Parpelo to Tsigor? Thank you, Speaker. We're building a number of pieces of infrastructure to support the road coming out of West Pokot through Kitale to Eldoret and down to Nakuru. And to that extent, there is the road from Parpelo to Tsigor, Marich Pass, which will come through the lower section. I do know that we have the Marigat, Muchongoi, Karandini. I need to check. But more importantly, the question from Senator Chemitei is of concern even to us, because some of our roads are underwater, and not just because of the rising lakes. And so we are designing the road and having to move it way up because of the climate change issues, and the fact that those of us who visit that particular region would really pay attention to climate change issues to the extent that a number of the tourist hotels are underwater today. Equally, the road, sections of the road are underwater. So we're designing roads as a matter of urgency, way above the water levels, and trying to understand what we all need to do as a country to address this question of rising lakes. And so I want to assure the House, I want to assure Mheshimiwa Chemitei that we will work on that. I will want to pay more attention on where the design is today and how we are going to quickly support to relocate the redesigned road and provide funding to ensure that the people for this particular region do have access to markets and people can move to their homes. I thank you.
So, Honorable CS, before you leave, there were 3 commitments that were copied to your ministry. I understand the Secretary shared this information with the ministry. Whether maybe you have something to say about them. One was from Senator Mwihaji Faki, which was to follow up with the Kenya Urban Loans Authority to provide an explanation on the steps being taken by Kura to address the flooding issues affecting the section of the rings loaned in Mombasa County near Quickmart Supermarket. The other one is to furnish Senator Okongo Omogeni with information on whether the Kenya Railways Corporation commenced the construction of the Riruta Ngong single track meter gauge railway before obtaining an environmental impact assessment license from the National Environment Management Authority. And the last one was from Senator Mohamed Abbas, who sought information on the actions the government is taking to fast-track the construction of the, this is the same question he was asking, Mondogashe, Samatal, and the Ramu Mandela sections of the Great North Road. Since you answered this supplementary question from Senator Abbas, maybe you can comment on the two from Mwenyehaji Faki and Senator Okongo Omogeni.
Thank you again, Speaker. Thank you, members. I did make a commitment to provide a response on the question, like you've said, Honorable Speaker, regarding the Quick Mart supermarket in Mombasa area, Link Road, which had been a source of perennial flooding because of the geographical locationing of that particular area in terms of being the lowest point, and the fact that investors did build both sides of the road and there was no waterway for the water to drain to the lower points of the rivers. Speaker, I do have a written response. I have signed it. Let me very quickly respond that the flooding section of the Link Road near Quick Mart supermarket in Mombasa was designed and elevated to elevate the 200-meter road section to provide for the carriage and walkway. I do have the response, including the pictures. We've fully constructed the area. There is no flooding today. I want to confirm I did visit that particular section 3 weeks ago, and it's a beautiful piece of completed work with paved walkway already done, including rehabilitation of the Quick Mart section, culvert installation, sinking of new vertical drain, 5 in number, desilting of existing vertical drains, pothole repair and patching, and performance-based maintenance already signed up. We did spend 54 million Kenya shillings to do that work, and the place is looking good today, and the member will be aware that with the short range that we have just witnessed, the place was a good motorable section. I will, if I have not already tabled, I will table the response for that particular commitment. The second commitment I did make with respect to Senator Abbas' question on Ramu, Samata, what do you call Modogashe, Samata, and Ramu Mandera, the last section of the corridor at Mandera. I've really answered this this morning in the course of engagements, but the government of Kenya had initially planned to upgrade the Modogashe-Habaswein Road section under the Road Annuity Program, like I said earlier, as Lot 3 within the public-private partnership framework. The Lot 3 project included 68-kilometer Class A road from Modogashe-Habaswein extending to Samata, as well as 75-kilometer Mandera-Ramu. The contract for upgrading of Lot 3 project was awarded to HAS Consortium GVR Infra in joint venture with Shandong High Speed Nile Investment Company. However, due to cost-related challenges, the government of Kenya decided to scrap the road annuity program, leading to termination of the contract for Lot 3 road project. As a result, the government is now shifting to engineering, procurement, construction, financing mode for upgrading of this particular Lot 3 section. In addition, through the National Treasury, the government of Kenya has requested additional funding from the World Bank under the Horn of Africa Gateway Project loan to upgrade the Lot 3 road project. This includes the only 2 unfunded section of Isiolo-Mandera Road corridor, of which Modogashe-Habaswein section forms part. The delay in completing the upgrade of Modogasha-Baswen Road section is due to the challenges experienced in terminating the contract with the engaged entity contractor has consortium for Lot 3 annuity project, which required legal intervention and the delay in securing funds to compensate the terminated contractor due to budgetary constraint. That has now been done, and in addition, World Bank has taken up those two sections, like I did mention earlier. The short-term strategies, the government is consistent in maintenance of the existing roads through the road maintenance levy. This is through construction of engineered gravel road, as well as undertaking routine maintenance, spot improvements, and so on and so forth. But as soon as we bring on the contractor, we'll make sure we do equally maintenance ahead of works. It's a long, detailed response, Mr. Speaker, and I do have the written response which I've signed, and I will table it before the House. Yes. On the final one, regarding whether we did build the rerouter, let me just very quickly open this. There was that question 93 that I also undertook to bring a response, and the question was the current progress of works on the rerouter Ngong railway line construction. Mr. Speaker, the transport sector is recognized as a key pillar and critical enabler in achieving Vision 2030 long-term development strategy and bottom-up economic transformation. Development of efficient transport system in rural and urban areas is therefore a key factor in supporting the country's development strategies. The government of Kenya, through Kenya Railway Corporation, conducted a feasibility study that resulted in the development of Nairobi Commuter Master Plan 2019. The master plan identified key commuter line corridors for development modernization within Nairobi metropolitan area. That include Nairobi Kikuyu Limuru, Nairobi Riruta Thika, which is also existing, Nairobi Lukenya Kitengela, Konza, which is also existing, Nairobi Jomo Kenyatta International Airport proposed, Nairobi Embakasi Village existing, and Nairobi Riruta Ngong under implementation, which is the concern that the member raised under question 109. Riruta Ngong Road commuter line, which will be linked to the revitalized Nairobi railway station, is also one of the commuter lines identified as critical transport infrastructure under the prioritized integrated transport system for decongestion of Nairobi metropolitan area. The rationale behind the preference of the commuter rail over road transport, that commuter rail is for mass transportation, where one commuter train carries up to 6,600 passengers, both standing and sitting, which is equivalent to 460 14-seater matatus off the road. I wish to indicate that for this particular project, the source of funding for the project is purely Government of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, as regards environmental social impact assessment study, the same was conducted in line with the Environmental Management and Coordination Act. I've also attached to my response, which I'll sign and table and deposit before the House. I also wish to add that the project is being implemented under the EPC or engineering procurement construction basis with an independent consultancy for design review and construction supervision in place. Because again, Speaker, members have got a comprehensive written response, let me beg to confirm that yes, we had a court case which has now been lifted and work will therefore progress. I thank you.
Okay, CS. That response is sufficient. We will table with the table office. So, Honorable Senators, that is the end of the session with the CS loans and transportation. Thank you, CS, and your team for again continuously appearing before the Senate, and you have really covered all your supplementary questions with utmost precision. And Even though you are not even prepared for the questions, you are able to know where the rules are and the status of those rules. So thank you very much indeed. All the best as you serve this good country of ours. So, yeah, that's okay, yes. You are free now to Sergeant Adams, you can collect the documents from the CS. Thank you, Waziri. So, Honorable Senators, we now go to the next order.
Order number 8, motion, mainstreaming of a framework for clean cooking in Kenya.
Senator Minda Kibwana is not in the House, so that business is deferred. Next order.
Order number 9, motion, report of the proceedings of the Artificial Intelligence Conference on the role of Parliament in shaping the future of responsible AI, held from 28th to 30th November 2025 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Also, on this order, Senator Henok Wabua is not in the House, so the order is deferred.
Order number 10, motion, report of the Third Commonwealth Parliamentarians with Disabilities Africa Region Conference held in Lusaka, Zambia from 24th to 28th February 2025.
Senator George Wambu has dedicated this business to the Chair Liba, Senator Mulgo Julius. So go ahead and move the motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The Commonwealth Parliamentarians with Disabilities Africa Region Conference held at Ciela Resort and Spa in Lusaka, Zambia, 24th to 28th February 2025. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the motion that the Senate notes the report of the Third Commonwealth.
Senator, can I remind you, I'm the one on the seat.
Oh, I'm sorry, Madam Speaker. Parliamentarians with Disabilities Africa Region Conference held in Lusaka, Zambia from 24 to 28th February 2025, laid on the table of Senate on 7th August 2025. Madam Speaker, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association was founded in 1911 and in international community of Commonwealth parliaments and legislature working together to deepen the Commonwealth commitment to the highest standards of democratic governance and parliamentary practice. It offers parliamentarians and parliamentary staff the avenue of collaborative on the issue of mutual interest and share good practices. The Commonwealth Parliamentary Association represents more than 180 parliaments and legislatures, 53 Commonwealth countries divided up between 9 geographic regions of Commonwealth, that is Africa, Asia, Australia, British Islands, and Mediterranean, Canadian, Caribbean, Americas, and Atlantic, India, Pacific, Southeast Asia. The Commonwealth Parliamentary with Disabilities was established 2018 and is one of the networks within the CPA that facilitates activities and programs to champion and increase the representation of persons with disabilities in Commonwealth parliaments and works towards mainstreaming of disability considerations in all CPA activities and programs. The CPWD Africa Region Network has held 3 conferences since its inception in 2018. The 3rd Commonwealth Parliamentarians with Disabilities Africa Region Conference was held 24th to 28 February 2025 in Lusaka, Zambia, under the theme Breaking Barriers, Building Inclusive Parliaments for Persons with Disabilities. Kenyan delegation was represented by Timothy Wanyonyi, MP, leader of the delegation, and PWD Africa, regional champion, Honorable Rose Muso, MP, Senator Crystal Asige, MP, Senator George Mbugwa, MP. The members of Parliament were accompanied by the following officers: Mr. Polycarp Matara, Engineer Mutunga Mike. The first one was Clerk Assistant 2, and the second one, the Engineer Clerk Assembly, Engineer Maintenance Officer, and National Assembly. Delegates at the PW Region Conference discussed wide range of topics represented by the resource persons who shared their insights and knowledge include technology, digitalization, and its use of empowerment and inclusion of persons with disabilities in Africa, African context, by Dr. Margaret Matonya from Zambia. Accessibility in action, designing physical spaces for inclusive parliamentary, by Mr. Ibrahim Asante from Ghana. Policy pathway, effective strategies for implementation, disability inclusion in Parliament, by Mr. Meshak Matumba from Zambia. Culture and shifts changing in attitude towards disability in political institutions, by Honorable Joseph Musanje, MP, Zambia. Resolutions to the Third Commonwealth Parliamentarians with Disability Africa Region. Madam Speaker, after the deliberation of the main topics of the conference, the delegates adopted the following: recognizing the fundamental human rights and freedoms of all persons, including persons with disabilities, acknowledging the valuable contributions of persons with disability, expressing concerns that persons with disability continue to encounter barriers hindering their effective participation in parliaments in the Commonwealth Africa regions, emphasizing the critical need for inclusive and accessible parliaments for persons with disabilities, welcoming the progress made by some parliaments in African region, advancing the inclusion of persons with disability, reiterating the commitment of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association to promoting and governance democracy and human rights, including the rights of persons with disabilities. The conference resolved, one, technology, digitalization, and the use of empowerment and inclusion of persons with disabilities in African context. One, to encourage Africa parliaments to leverage the technology and digitalization to empower and include persons with disabilities. To urge the African parliaments to undertake comprehensive capacity building programs to equip parliaments and staff with skills and knowledge necessary for effective utilization of assistance technologies and accessible digital platforms. Three, further urge African governments to collaborate with organizations of persons with disabilities, technology experts to prioritize the development and implementation of imperfectful digital inclusion strategies. Four, furthermore, urge African governments to include disability mainstream discussions. And topic two, accessibility in action, digitizing physical spaces for inclusive parliaments. Advise African parliaments to adhere the universal design principles in construction and renovation of parliamentary buildings, ensuring physical accessibility of all persons with disabilities. To further advance African parliaments to regularly conduct accessibility audits to productive identify and address barriers within the physical environment. Urge African governments to undertake the meaningful consultations with persons with disabilities. Three, policy pathway, effective strategies for implementing the disability inclusion of parliament. Encourage African parliaments to develop and implement comprehensive disability inclusion policies and action plans aligned with CRPD, articulating clear goals, targets, and measurable indications for monitoring progress. Further, encourage African parliaments to ensure that disability inclusion policies encompasses all facts of parliamentary work. Urge African parliaments to allocate adequate financial resources to ensure the effective implementation of disability inclusion policies. Culture shift, changing attitude towards disability in political institutions. Advise African parliaments to implement awareness campaigns and training programs to combat stigma and negative attitude towards persons with disabilities. Encourage African governments to promote inclusive that showcases the contribution and capabilities of persons with disability. Urge African parliaments to actively champion disability rights. Further urge African parliaments to enact legislation that promotes inclusiveness of persons with disability. General resolution, the CPA African Region Secretariat, in collaboration with CPA headquarters, shall continue to support and facilitate the work of CPWD Network Africa Region, providing necessary resources and technology assistance to parliaments and implementing these resolutions. African parliaments shall resort to the regional secretariat on the progress of the implementation of these resolutions. The CPA African Region Secretariat shall include segment for members to report back on the implementation of the resolutions for the previous conference. The CPA Secretariat shall circulate proposed topics of the next conference to members to effect emerging issues, and at least 1 month before the next conference for approval. This conference calls upon the Commonwealth parliaments in Africa region to fully implement these resolutions and actively contribute towards building a genuinely inclusive parliament for persons with disabilities. These resolutions were anonymously adopted on 27th February 2025 by the third conference of Commonwealth parliamentarians with disability African region held in Lusaka, Zambia. Madam Speaker, I beg to move and request Senator Cherargei to support. To second, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator West Pokot. Senator Cherargei, to second.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and congratulations for being elected as a temporary speaker for today's session. And that shows the faith the House has on you to discharge, of course, as a ranking member of this House, to be the temporary speaker for the purposes of the ongoing works. Madam Speaker, as I rise to second, because this is just a procedural motion and a report of the third Commonwealth Parliamentarians with Disabilities Africa Region Conference held at Ciela Resort and Spa in Lusaka, Zambia, 24 to 28 February 2025, Lusaka, Zambia. Madam Speaker, I know this is a very interesting country. You remember they have not been able to bury their president called Edgar Lungu, who was a former president of Zambia because of, it is a very interesting case like SM Otieno case. And I have a number of friends who are priests who normally do missionary work in Zambia, and I know Kenyans have an interest. It's one of the countries that Kenya prides itself for working closely. And I'm happy they hosted the issue. I have a friend who is called Father Teleo who just left Zambia, and he's telling me Zambia is a good country, Madam Speaker. But that being said and done is that I want to celebrate that we need to know the place of PWDs, Madam Speaker. You are aware of Article 54 on persons with disabilities. I think Kenya, Madam Speaker, has one of the progressive recognition of the youth, minority, marginalized, and PWDs. So the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, the CPA, should and must note as a parliament. Because, Madam Speaker, if we are aware with the challenges and we play the role that people living with disability are able to do, Madam Speaker, it will be able to allow us, if we can recognize the law of PWD, we are the lawmakers. We are able now to make laws that will assist and ensure people living with disability or are differently able are able to discharge their mandates. Madam Speaker, as I speak, Madam Speaker, allow me also to send my condolences and messages of goodwill, because last week, Thursday, a building or a latrine collapsed in Kapsabet School for the Deaf in Kapsabet, where we lost a student and a number of injuries that they are recovering in our hospitals. Madam Speaker, I want to send my quick recovery and wish them well. And also to thank the President, Madam Speaker, because that day President William Ruto was visiting Nandi when the incident happened, and he took time to go and commensurate with them, to condole with them, and wish them quick recovery, and gave them a support of 5 million to support Kapsabet School for the Deaf. And I think, Madam Speaker, that school needs a lot of support. These are our children that are different. And Madam Speaker, we need to tell Kenyans and everybody in this country that having a child who's differently able is not a curse. It's not a taboo. We have in this society, Madam Speaker, where parents are hiding their children who are PWDs or differently able. We must condemn. It is not an offense. It is not a taboo. It's not a curse. Madam Speaker, even if you interact with these people who are visually impaired, differently, people living with disability, Madam Speaker, they have some strong abilities that even normal human beings don't have. So we want to encourage parents to stop. And how can we stop that? Is by recognizing the role of PWDs as parliament, as was envisaged in this conference. So if as leaders we recognize the uniqueness of people living with disability, as a parliament we take the lead. And you know, leadership leadership are dealers of hope. We must give hope to the people, Madam Speaker. And this disability truncates many things, Madam Speaker. And we want to appeal that as a country, we have the Disability Act, and I want to thank former Vice President Angomudi Owar, because he was the pioneer of prison reforms and also the Disability Act of 2003 that gave birth to Article 54. And Madam Speaker, Kenyans should not know that we are not discussing this report about parliament recognition. Under Article 54 of the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, people living with disability have been recognized. And in fact, 54.2 says that there shall be progressive implementation principle. At least 5% of members of the public in elective and appointive bodies are persons with disability. Madam Speaker, I want to appeal that we must do legislative audit. Because I can tell you, I have sat in Public Accounts Committee, and you are a member of Public Accounts Committee. All counties, including your county, Isiolo, have failed to meet the threshold of appointive positions of people living with disability. Even Kisii, even Omabe, even Nandi, Madam Speaker, and many other counties, including Muranga, they have failed in terms of Article 54.2 to meet the threshold that the Constitution has set. And I think as a House, this is a progressive implementation. Let us not even talk about the elective, Madam Speaker, because we need also to encourage Kenyans. It is 1 year to general election, Madam Speaker. We need to encourage Kenyans to elect people living differently able, because they are also leaders. We have Senator Mbugua, Madam Speaker, who is specially elected. We have Senator Crystal Asige, who is specially elected, Madam Speaker. These are disabilities that we can see. And I hope Kenyan Senator Onyonga, as they go for election, we must ensure we have a way of ensuring people living with disability have an opportunity to serve, Madam Speaker, in different capacities, even they're living with disability, Madam Speaker. I'm not talking about disabilities in bedrooms, but I'm saying disabilities that are known, that can be seen. Madam Speaker, I want to challenge people living with disability. Under the Act, we must ensure people living with disability are able to access the IDs. I normally, Madam Speaker, you are a politician. Whenever we walk, you meet somebody living with disability. Like there was an Arambe for Chapter 8 Women's Star on Sunday afternoon in Mosoria Township, and I met one of the disabled people using a wheelchair, and they have not been given an ID card by people living with disability council, Madam Speaker. I want people living with disability to have their offices as lowest as the sub-location, the chief's level, so that our people can access the PWD card to allow them to get tax exemption, to allow them to get services, to allow them to be given priority. And I'm happy, Madam Speaker, even here in the Senate, even the design of the parliament, because we are discussing and even government buildings, it is so sad, Madam Speaker. And I remember when we visited the county headquarters where we were locked out in Isiolo, you were part of us. If you look at the design of that building, we noticed in the design there was no provision of access of ramps of people living with disability. And it is a sorry state in most of the government buildings that we don't have proper design to accommodate people living with disability. So I want to appeal to Kenyans that even people living with disability, I'm told there are quite a number. We used to have Mheshimiwa Sangok, the specially elect of Yala. He was with us. There are a number of Dr. Musuruve, who was a member, who was specially elected in the last session, Madam Speaker, and a number of our colleagues we have recognized. I think we should not leave the people living with disability to the mercy, to the philanthropy of our political parties for them to get to the office. Madam Speaker, especially coming. And this we will be doing in Article 54.2, the issue of persons of rights with disability, CRPD, protocol to the African Charter on Human Rights and Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which is well captured, Madam Speaker, in this report. And also, I want to appeal because Article 54 recognizes the Braille sign language as a national language apart from English, Kiswahili, and sign language as Braille. Madam Speaker, they should be recognized with this. And Madam Speaker, we must also ask IEBC to come up with modalities on how people who are people living with disability can campaign, can participate in an electoral process. I'm saying this aware that yesterday there were heightened exchange of very not unpalatable words across the spectrum of this country, Madam Speaker. We saw yesterday, the last 2 days, there have been insults, demeaning, exchange of words, Madam Speaker, from the senior leadership of this country. And I hope as we go into the future, we should not, Madam Speaker, at least see that again, Madam Speaker, because, you know, we are a country. Our children watch all of us. Madam Speaker, we must ensure that our language, which we engage, are decent, Madam Speaker. And you know, Madam Speaker, somebody was asking, why did the president react? It's because, Madam Speaker, in one of our colleagues' funeral service, mother, Senator Garungo Dangwa's mother, and we wish Senator Garungo Dangwa all the best, and we pray for him, because he lost the mother a few days ago, and the burial was on Monday. And the person who started insulting everybody was the former impeached deputy president of rigathigachagua, who started by insulting everybody and demeaning the head of state. Also, the head of state is a human being, Madam Speaker. He had a right of reply. He should reply, Madam Speaker. And what he said is correct, Madam Speaker. To advise people to go gym is not an offense. Why are Kenyans taking an offense to tell? I can see Senator Onyonga likes giving fit. Madam Speaker, I normally meet him in health club, trying to be alert and be able to contribute to the discourse of this country, Madam Speaker. What is it hard, Madam Speaker? And I want to appeal to investigative agencies. One person who impregnated a young girl, the age of their children, Madam Speaker, they must be taken to court and prosecuted. We cannot, Madam Speaker, be talking about that. The reason I'm saying this, Madam Speaker, is that I am appealing to IEBC to come up with formula on how we can ensure our colleagues who are people living with disability can campaign, can vote, can participate, can be elected, so that they can sit in Parliament Republic of Kenya. My final comments, Madam Speaker, is on the issue is to further encourage African parliaments. I know Kenya is doing very well, but we have agreed with you, Madam Speaker, that we are yet to achieve the 5% on progressive implementation of Article 54.2, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, on the resolutions that has been made, I agree that we need regional secretariat to ensure that the progress and implementation are done, Madam Speaker. Members to report back on the resolutions of the previous conference, which is very brilliant. The CPS Secretariat must and should include the issue of PWDs and Parliament as recognition, Madam Speaker, and also in Africa to fully implement, so that as Africa, as a continent, as African Parliament, we must and should, because I know Kenya can lead the way, Madam Speaker. You are aware that Kenya, in terms of representation, even on the issue of women, we now have 47 elected women in the National Assembly. We also are specially elect and majority are women. But I want to appeal that let these seats not be based on philanthropy. We want women, youth, people living with disability. Like you, Madam Speaker, you have been elected for 3 times straight as an elected member of the Senate, ranking, despite being of the female gender, Madam Speaker. And you have demonstrated that what a man can do, a woman can do better. What a PWD, what a normal human being or a normal senator can do, a PWD senator can do better than a normal senator, Madam Speaker. So I want to appeal, and it is challenged, and I'm proud, and I hope the cameras would be zooming to you, so that the young girls and women who want the leadership in this country can know that you can be elected in this house, you are the former deputy majority leader in the last session, you became the minority leader, Madam Speaker. You are the chair of National Security and Foreign Relations, Madam Speaker. This is a challenge to the minority and marginalized women, people living with disability, and the youth. Madam Speaker, I would have expected you also, although I didn't know the program of your committee, to be in Russia to pursue this issue of Russia, because I saw the chair of National Security also of the National Assembly, and I hope as the chair of National Security and Foreign Relations, you will update the House in the near future. Madam Speaker, in the interest of time, and we have a heavy agenda on the order paper, allow me to yield the mic back and say this is a report that is worth noting, that is worth being followed up. Let colleagues support so that we pass this motion and allow the people living with disability are not reduced to philanthropy, to being just being given handouts. They must recognize just like any other ordinary Kenyans. Madam Speaker, with those very many remarks, allow me to leave it there, and I second.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Senate notes the report of the Third Commonwealth Parliamentarians with Disabilities African Region Conference held in Lusaka, Zambia from 24 to 28 February 2025, laid on the table of the Senate on 7th August 2025. The floor is open. I can see Senator Onyonka, you want to contribute, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The most upright and able accolades that my colleague has just bestowed upon you stand with exception. But everything else he has said that is political, I would want to, if I had a chance, expunge it out of the order paper, no, out of the Hansard. The reason for that is that the issues that he was bringing on forth, as much as he was making an argument for his side, I will raise one or two things. But I think, on a serious note, Madam Speaker, this is a very good document. Once again, our Republic of Kenya, produces some of the best policy papers, some of the interventions on nearly everything. Madam Speaker, today, if you were to sit down and look whether we had an aeronautic engineer who is a space scientist, you would find a Kenyan who works in NASA. We are always very good in what we do. But you see, when you come locally, Madam Speaker, and try and look for interventions on what we are supposed to do for our people, we don't move. This is what has been contradictory to my interpretation of our political standing as a people, as a leadership. If, Madam Speaker, you were to look at the report and go to paragraph 7, the conclusions are actually in the report. Number one, the report says there should be accessibility to voting. It's self-explanatory. Historically, if you look at the people with a disability or people who are able differently, you realize they're as good in performance as any of us. And yet, if you look at this house, for example, Madam Speaker, you see what our sister and the able senator from Mombasa, Asige. You look at Senator Kamau. You look at many of the people who have had these challenges. They actually perform well. They do an excellent job. They are knowledgeable, and they're people who deserve to be here. But then you see, Madam Speaker, when we start talking now on the nitty-gritty, accessibility to voting, do we even look at the polling stations, whether somebody with a disability will be given guidance? Do we even consider that some of these polling stations need a ramp so that if somebody is coming in with a wheelchair, they can actually have accessibility to that polling station? We don't. I remember I was in the National Assembly when there were, in fact, recommendations after the promulgation of the Constitution that we have now. And there was a suggestion that all buildings, including all facilities, privately owned and national government owned, should be opened up and provide the necessary infrastructure so that people with disability can be able to access those buildings. That hasn't been done. I believe that this House can engage itself so that we don't become a talk shop, Madam Speaker. The reason I raise this issue is because, number two, go to representation in government, whether it's the national government, whether it is the county government, and indeed, you notice that my brother, Honorable Cherargei, my brother and a man I highly respect, only talked about county governments. But even the national government has left a gap where deliberately look at the people who are appointed. They are all able people, and the reality is that it looks like nobody considers, or even if somebody was to consider this position, you would find that nobody would care to listen. The third issue they have raised is civic engagement. Of course, to a large extent, people with disability who have been deliberately and publicly engaging themselves and raising the issues and becoming activists. Many of them have been in these national organizations, civic society organizations, raising and putting out their information which needs to be received by people with disability so that then we can mitigate where they are. You come to the fourth issue, the legal policy frameworks. If you look at this policy framework, one of the things that I'm very advantaged, Madam Speaker, is that I sit at the Health Committee, and one of the things that we've been looking at is what are we going to do with, for example, children who have got disability and who have got incapacity, because some of the diseases they have are diseases that are not easily managed by either their parents or even the county governments. And I'm happy that the Committee for Health is working on this so that then we can begin to classify and handle our people when they have these challenges, especially our children. Madam Speaker, if you go down to the item number 6, which they have presented here, education and awareness, the truth is very many children who have disability, and this disability is not physical per se. There are children who have mental disability. There are children who have other disabilities which are now being investigated by science, and conclusions which previously had been misinterpreted are now being given a forward value. And the point we should be engaged ourselves is what happens with those children when we go to the schools. Because some of the buildings are actually 3, 4, 5 floors. And yet you'll find that from 3, they are placed on floor number 4, because the ground floor is where the administration block is. What do we do with those children with disability? Because my observation, Madam Speaker, is that some of these children, indeed, we are treating them as if we are punishing them. And that is why you have to allow somebody who's on a wheelchair or who's not able to walk, even if they walk with a stick. These young children or young men and women who go to our schools and universities and all the colleges, you find that we have not engaged ourselves to come with interventions and policies which are going to make it more bearable and more acceptable for them to survive within this environment under which we live in, where we feel that we are extremely secure and we are comfortable, and it doesn't matter where our people are going to be. The last one, Madam Speaker, is the issue of technology and innovation. I believe that when we are coming to look at this as a policy initiative, we have to look at the possibility of some of the cases of children and individuals who have got these disabilities, some of them which are mental, have been found that they are actually extremely intelligent. Some of them have become extremely good painters. Some of them are blessed and rewarded in a very unique manner. And Madam Speaker, I do believe that if you look at the issue of technology and innovation, that some of the innovations that are going to be introduced will end up and come a long way to help people with disability, and I believe this is a positive. Finally, Madam Speaker, I just wanted to mention and maybe just look at what my brother Cherargei talked about, how our leaders are now talking about themselves in an uncouth manner and basically exposing their ignorance and many other things. Madam Speaker, we know for sure that it is completely unfortunate that you can find leaders who are willing to body shame each other, how fat you are, how thin you look. Imagine, Madam Speaker, if this is the narrative that our leaders are bringing out, imagine if you were disabled and you were criticizing government and you started talking about either our bad behaviors of corruption, mismanagement of public resources, and you are a governor. Somebody will start talking about how your legs are looking funny. Somebody will say how your hands are spaced or they look in a certain manner. And I think we must begin to look at our country a bit differently. And this is what I've said, Madam Speaker, that our leadership must know that whatever we say has a direct impact on how the public understands who we are. Some of these things we are calling each other. Look at what is going to happen in schools now. Some of our children are going to find it's normal. You can pick a friend even if he disagrees with you and tells you not to do certain things because they're either against the law or they're things that you should not do. And if you are a person with disability or somebody who has got a challenge whereby you are not even able to walk, then that's the case where you are going to have some of the students who are going to come up and say, why is he criticizing and talking to us about things which are A, B, C, D, and yet this is how this person is. He's either blind or this person is. I mean, you can imagine, Madam Speaker, if my sister, the able Senator Asige, was to now start talking about the challenges that the government is having. Most likely, somebody is going to say some uncouth and untoward things about her. And yet, in reality, that's our job. Our job is to say, be given our ability to say, and let the government have its way. That is what this democracy thing is all about. But again, we always go back to our bad habits. When you've lost an argument in Kenya, then you begin to throw epithets. Then you begin to talk about your leadership, how it is inept, or how the leadership. I mean, Madam Speaker, you were there. You saw how everybody in our republic went out and they were saying how Mzee Raila was the most incredible man who was really amazing, and he is a man who stood for democracy and he was fighting for all these things. And yet, Madam Speaker, the year before, how he was being called is a mganga. He's a guy who can't talk well. In fact, he has got mental problems. So you understand the irony of where we are. But this is, Madam Speaker, a very good document. And I believe that if we can sit as a committee, and I hope that the Committee of Health and the other cross-cutting committees can sit down and we come up with policy of helping people who have got disabilities, children who are suffering from various ailments which are very difficult to even interpret to a normal doctor. It will be a very, very good document. I support, Madam Speaker.
Senator Mungatana.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will speak very briefly so that I can just give my colleagues opportunity to also make a comment. Madam Speaker, hey. I want to congratulate the Honorable Senator Mbogwa and the team that went for this Commonwealth Association meeting. Madam Speaker, and I also just wanted to say only one issue. I wanted to pick up only one issue, Madam Speaker. One of the recommendations was that the parliaments must develop policies that are friendly to legislators living with disability. Madam Speaker, this is the thing. In this parliament, we have seen in practice that our constructions and our buildings are friendly to our colleagues who are living with disability. And Madam Speaker, I must say here that in my many years past in the National Assembly, we had a former member of parliament. We just broke out for a session and we came back and he had been attacked by bandits and he was never able to walk again. So this can happen to anybody. In short, Madam Speaker, we are all potential PWDs. And it is good that this parliament in general has complied with trying to make Parliament accessible, Senate accessible, National Assembly accessible. The only thing, Madam Speaker, the PSC needs to do is to create this policy so that we have a policy paper officially. Because if it is there, Madam Speaker, it has not been publicized to all of us. I know there is a policy on sexual harassment, but I have not heard of a policy on PWDs within this parliament. So, Madam Speaker, I would invite the Secretariat to make these things available. And even when new members come, these policy documents should be made available, aside from the Speaker's rules, from the Constitution and the standing orders. The policy papers, the policy documents must be made available. And Mr. Speaker, on this one, we haven't seen, and I would encourage the Secretariat to do so in keeping with the resolutions that were passed in this report. Madam Speaker, I beg to support. Thank you.
Senator Mutinda, next.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm happy to see you taking the leadership role. As women, we are proud and continue being proud. I want to really appreciate the delegation that did attend the third Commonwealth Parliamentarians with Disability, represented by our colleagues, Senator Mbugua, Senator Crystal, and this is very positive. I want to state in short, Madam Speaker, because I know we have limited time, and said that the PWDs Act 2025 did emphasize on the 5% workforce employment in the workspaces, and also the elements of infrastructure for people with disability. Any public institution should ensure that the infrastructure is suitable for accessibility for people with disability. As Senator Mugatana has correctly put it, disability is not necessarily that you're born with. Any day, any time, it can hit you. And we should all be prepared that anything is possible and anything can happen. I wanted to narrow to two issues, Madam Speaker, the education sector and the health sector. Currently, as we speak as a health committee, we're prosecuting a bill, and that is the autism bill, Madam Speaker. And from where we sit as a committee, you find that autism has been narrowed to sort of just as simple as a disability. But it is just beyond a disability, because you find that the Ministry of Education has not set out the learning institution for children with autism. Most of these children, Madam Speaker, are hidden in houses by some parents. Some parents have been able also to bring their kids out, which is good. But further to that, Madam Speaker, these are the issues that have just been bracketed within disability and not given the weight that they deserve, Madam Speaker. This is a bill that we're prosecuting, and this discussion comes at the best time, at the high time, that it also conjoins the issue of education. The infrastructures for our people with disability, infrastructures, learning institutions for children with autism, Madam Speaker, because they are very special category, Madam Speaker. Data is in place to ensure that we get to know how many people genuinely are in the database of people with disability in this country. How many as well are with autism, Madam Speaker, because the issues of autism are very critical. And lastly, Madam Speaker, so that I give my colleague time to say a few things. I've noticed that even in this chamber and Senate, we do not have a sign language expert. As much as we are talking about people with disability, it needs to start here. We need to set the example. We pass legislation, Madam Speaker. But today, Madam Speaker, in your gallery, at times we have visitors. How sure are we that all of them can hear what we say? How comes this house has not put a person who has the expertise of a sign language throughout so that they are able to communicate to Kenyans? Someone, what I see normally on TV when they're broadcasting news, aside there's someone who does the sign language. It should be there in such a way that as I speak, then there's somebody there, you know, the way they normally put it, the IT people, that communicates what I say. So as much as we are appreciating, but we need, charity begins at home. And I think Senate can lead by example, by the office of the clerk, the office of the speaker, prioritizing someone for sign language to be able to be here throughout these sessions, to be able to do what is needful, Madam Speaker. Politically, there has been words which have been thrown yesterday, as early as yesterday. I thought my big brother, Senator Onyonka, would be in the house. You know, when you say that this person should not have said this, he's the head of state, and all that, but why did they not speak when their leader started throwing these words? How comes when he was throwing those words, for him it is okay, and when the other leader also throws out some words, then there's a problem? With those many and few, Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. Senator Korir.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. As it has been said by my colleagues, allow me also to congratulate you for raising and being in an elective position for the 3 times. And I also want to also wish you the best in the coming elections, Madam Speaker, because I know you are up to the task. Madam Speaker, I just want to support the report that has been brought forward by the members of the Commonwealth parliamentarians on disabilities. And I want to say, Madam Speaker, that people living with disability in this country have been undergoing a lot of challenges, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I come from Bomet County, where I want to say, Madam Speaker, the report that is in front of us has really touched on a number of issues that are affecting these people, Madam Speaker. Despite the fact that the government have tried in terms of making sure that they address the issues of the infrastructure, accessibility of the accessibility in some of the buildings. There is the issue of incorporation of the people living with disability with others in the primary schools. Madam Speaker, I still want to say that I feel they are not also recognized in a better way, because there are a number of them who are still languishing in buffer, Madam Speaker.
Senators, now it's 1 p.m. Senator Korir, you will have a balance of 13 minutes when this motion is next listed on the order paper. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until later today, Wednesday, 18th March 2026 at 2:30 p.m.